Хей, йоу, дорогие мои друзья, с вами Мунлайт, и добро пожаловать на стрим по Genshin Impact. Будем сегодня с вами завершать контент, надеюсь на это. Не уверен, что нам хватит времени на все 5 заданий, но как минимум задание 3 мы должны сегодня закрыть, чтобы подготовиться уже к выходу обновления. В общем, дорогие мои друзья, будем сегодня с вами усердно играть, пытаться победить всех и каждого, решить все головоломки и, конечно же, общаться. Общаться много и весело. А вы слышали, что Илон Маск сегодня купил Твиттер? Пара вручена небесами, я считаю, величайший постер и тролль, и платформа для таких. Слушай, там же что-то какие-то проблемы были, нет? Там вроде сделку отменяли, не отменяли, что какие-то выдвигались необоснованные требования, нет? Но, во всяком случае, я не видел еще новостей. А в общем-то, дорогой мой зритель, устраивайся поудобнее. Неси чайок, кофеёк, я вот чайок принес. Мы начинаем. Отключаем музыку. Надоело мне уже на начало стрима постоянно искать какую-то песню. Надо с этим что-то делать. Почему в Геншине нет нормального музыкального сопровождения, которое можно поставить? В общем, поехали. Геншин. Вот он. Я, как обычно, люблю вкрячиваться. Вот прям именно вкрячиваться в задание. Вчера телепортируюсь, я такой думаю, надо в Леве тэпнуться, и все у нас будет хорошо. Телепортируюсь и вижу, что у меня зона выполнения задания Легенд вот прям здесь. Я телепортировался и вкрячился. У меня был какой-то диалог с девчонкой из Цесины, и она мне сказала, типа, пошли на второй этаж вот этого чайного дома. Поэтому мы идем сюда. Да, в смысле? В дом пустите, гады. Понятно. Значит, все-таки вот тут. Короче, там старый дед из Цесина хочет уйти.
Oh? What a lovely surprise. Welcome. Hoishin, why don't you go downstairs and get the shopkeeper to make us a fresh pot of
Да,
tea?
вчера. Все, привела, а теперь иди за чаем.
I heard that you've been traveling all over the place recently. I would very much like to hear your adventure stories.
В любом случае, поздравим молодожен.
Hoishin told you, didn't she? Don't worry. I'm quite all right. It's just the years gradually catching up with me. As I grow older, I'm starting to find that with many things, though the mind is willing, the flesh is weak.
Дядюшка на
Especially
пенсию
recently,
хочет идти.
noticed a rather drastic drop in my energy levels.
Приветствую, Киря. Добро пожаловать.
I am still very much in good standing as the Tianshu today. Nevertheless, I wish to pass on the position before my mental
чё?
acuity begins to decline beyond redemption.
Озвучку-то там. Лип-синк, там, все дела. Уи, я повысил мир. Ура, наконец-то.
Oh, well, you see,
Настал тот день,
Tianshu
когда
is a rather
человек,
unique
которого я
position
притащил в
among
Геншин, чтобы
Hoishin.
помогать себе, все-таки будет этим заниматься, а не я буду ей помогать.
Historically speaking, the Tianshu rarely appears in public. We stay behind the scenes, planning and giving advice. So a public selection process would not be suitable. We also want to keep any prospective Tianshu candidates free from influence by outside forces. So we tend to be as discreet as possible. For these reasons, the incumbent Tianshu typically recommends their candidate of choice, and this is then approved by the other Qixing members.
So in other words, you pick someone, and then
Она
maybe
у этих ваших
clicking,
монеток и
maybe
шевронов
Mingguan,
полночь
and the
не
other
впитывают.
Qixing appoint them?
Кстати, да, почему вы чат не видите? Что за What the fuck is this? Вот, все же есть. Твою дивизию. Не хватало чай расплескать. Так. Угу.
Correct. Unfortunately, due to my health, I won't be able to assess every
Все
candidate
хорошо.
myself. Not to despair, however, because I found someone exceptionally capable to act on my behalf as a
Oh? Who is it?
I'm heartbroken. I thought it might take you a little longer than this to forget all about me.
It's Yelan!
Jackpot. Uncle Tian here asked me to assess 3 candidates for him.
Я надеюсь, один из этих кандидатов будет пойман.
Fancy joining me? You'll be among the first to get to know the next Tianshu. Might be a good...
What do you think? Paimon thinks so too. It can't be a bad thing to be on good terms with a new Qixing, right?
All right then. Though, I gotta say, Uncle Tian, you say you're into behind-the-scenes planning? My work's of the covert variety too. Don't you
Конечно,
think
да.
I might make a
Все,
good
вот,
Tianshu?
вопрос решенный. Давайте мы ставим Елани и закрываем этот квест.
Yelan, you want to be the next Tianshu?
I'm not opposed to the idea, but I suspect Ningguang wouldn't let you go very easily after. So, how about this?
Deal. Well, you guys take your time. Meet me on the first floor when you're ready. Oh, and no need to pay for your tea. As the new owner of this fine establishment, this runs on the house.
О, у нас это бесплатный чай появился.
You're all set?
Uncle Tian seems really worn down.
Yeah, it may sound harsh, but Uncle Tian is past his prime. He's not cut out for this anymore. So he's recommended 3 candidates. Their names are Chenwei, Mingguo, and Zhi.
Так. У меня... Сука. Сначала у вас чат пропал на стриме, теперь он пропал у меня. Привет, Саня. А я сейчас смотрю, думаю, вроде что-то мелькает чат на стриме. А почему у меня ничего не появляется? Мой вечер проходит так, что я сижу и рисую капибар. Хочу домашнюю капибару. Не самая удачная затея.
Chenwei is a wealthy entrepreneur. Mingguo works at the Liyue Ministry of Civil Affairs, and Zhi is focused on study and travel. Try to keep all
Так,
that in
не,
mind.
ну-ка, погодите.
Of course, it doesn't really matter if you forget, since we'll be assessing them at Yuehai Pavilion in a short
Секунду.
while.
Что-то, блядь, Рутани сегодня капризничает. Как маленькая девочка. С кем же у нас... Твою... А, нет, все окей. Угу. Да, все нормально, не врите. Все плохо. Так, будем надеяться, что теперь он будет работать нормально.
Chenwei, Mingguo, Zhi. Paimon should be able to remember their names, but what does the assessment involve?
Let's leave that until
О.
we get to Yuehai Pavilion. All right. Heads in the game, people.
Они
The stakes don't
не
get much
одновременно
higher than a
работают,
change in Qixing.
они этот
We can't afford to miss anything,
продлевают друг
no
дружку.
matter how
Ты
small.
берешь дни.
Got it. We'll keep our eyes wide open.
Стакаются? Подожди. Подожди. Магазин. Где рекомендованные товары? Подробнее. Бла-бла-бла. В течение... Так, обратите внимание, продолжительность благословения полной луны может быть увеличена только в том случае, когда ее оставшаяся продолжительность меньше либо равна 180 дням. Вы не можете продлить благословение. Ага. Если, если при уникальных обстоятельствах произойдет повторная покупка, камни и сток, которые вы получили при ежедневном входе во время благословения, возмещаться не будут. Если при уникальных обстоятельствах произойдет повторная покупка, продолжительности благословения не будет увеличена. Вам напрямую возместят 330 кристаллов сотворения. Нет, то есть оно вы продлеваете. Но 60 дней. Но ты не будешь их одновременно получать по 90. Ты будешь на протяжении 60 дней получать по 90. И купить ты можешь не больше 180 дней. То есть ты, по сути, можешь купить на 3 благословения на 3 месяца. Все. Не на 3, подожди. На 6. Полгода, то есть. По 30 дней, да, полгода. Поэтому нет. Если б сразу по 180. Ага. Так что нет, мать, оно не стакается. Давайте вот с этой горы приземлимся.
My
Замечательно,
legs
я
are
кони
sore.
двинул.
What is wrong with this assessment officer? This is a huge occasion and I don't even get a chair.
Мне уже ноги затекли, кстати, о чем?
I've dealt with all kinds of people in my time, but never have I been made to stand while I'm waiting for an appointment.
Oh, I mean, I...
That's called being complacent. If you're happy to just...
Oh, come on. All right, you two. Let's not get into a big... Qianwei, that was a bit uncalled for. And Mingbo, cut him some slack. We've all... Look, how about this? There's no rule saying we're obliged to stand up while we wait, so why don't...
Fine. Ugh.
It looks like all 3 candidates have arrived. We'll meet them formally soon. But I've split it into 2 stages. Current affairs and planning. In the first stage, candidates are required to submit a manifesto for Liyue's development. In the writing a manifesto takes time, so I informed them of this requirement in advance. These are the reports they submitted.
Оу. Я смотрю, кто-то там любит пописать.
Wow, one of them is really thick.
It's also worth mentioning a stipulation I gave them. Whoever is appointed as the new Tianshu will be expected to failing the occurrence of some cataclysmic event, they will not be permitted to change their plan. There's still some time. Have a skim through, get a first impression of... I'll be waiting off to the side.
Чпоньк. Так, давайте потратим вот эту гадость. Это 46 штук. Сколько можно-то?
I'll protect us.
Так. План СНВ затрагивает многие вопросы торговли, отличается глубоким анализом. Кажется, он считает, что правила и выгода совершенно необходимы. И все, то есть вот в этой вот большой кипе бумажек это все, что написано. Посторонне хотел внутренние дела, благосостояние людей. Разносторонне охватывать внутреннюю политику, международные отношения, контроль и другие аспекты. Чтобы внимание на решение проблем, он предлагает простые и ясные решения. Работа очень объемная, времени хватило только на то, чтобы пролистать. То есть это вот самая большая была, которая... подхилимся чуток. И надо, кстати... Да что за хрень? Что за проблема у них с этим круговым меню?
Finished, huh?
Everyone took it very
Of course they did. They have the chance to be and keep in mind, whoever gets in has to execute their plan as written. That's for me to know and you to find out. We'll see the candidates now. Let's do one at a time.
Yes, ma'am.
Мне кажется, было бы намного интереснее, если бы они в каждом городе оставили озвучку по этому. Все-таки по нации. То есть в Лиюе китайскую озвучку, в Инадзуме японскую, в Манштате немецкую.
I had assumed that given the great import of this
Мне кажется, было бы
situation, Lady
интереснее.
Ningguang would perhaps be assessing us in person. I certainly had
Ну, либо
imagined I'd
как
be
минимум
seeing
был
two
бы такой вариант
entirely
включить.
unfamiliar faces. I trust you've read through my manifesto. I'd be more than happy to clarify any details you found difficult to grasp. It was written with an expert
Ну, и игра бы, наверное,
audience in
весила
mind,
хреново тучу.
after all.
На самом деле.
Mind your tone, mister.
Relax. It wasn't intended as a personal slight against anyone in particular. I was simply stating a fact. Cloud Retainer. You know this Adeptus? With your sterling reputation, you must have a respectable level of erudition.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes. Please introduce yourself.
I'm, Mingbo. I work in the Ministry of Civil Affairs. I've worked there for, 9 years, 5 months, and 3 days. In that time, I've handled,
Какой ты душный,
2,347
а.
cases. I have 12 active cases at the moment. They should be concluded in, 16 days? My current work is related to urban planning, and I'm also responsible for, auditing the accounts. To be
Is it just Paimon or...
You know what? Let's leave the self-intro.
Oh, oh.
Hello. What would you like to know? You're here to assess me, so ask away.
Your manifesto is very wide in its scope, but you don't seem to be personally involved in many of the specific fields. How can you be...
Very fair question. I completely understand where but I'm confident in my plan. I've visited many different places, talked to lots of people with Of course, two different problems can be interconnected in very complicated ways, and you might reach two very...
How do you plan to determine whether you are right or wrong about your proposed
A great question. Well, I'd start by having my colleagues and the secretaries of the UF if it turned out that my judgment was to blame for poor results.
Nice answer.
He seems like a
Кстати,
great guy.
ограничение, да, это, походу,
Everything
идет от
he said
этой
was
мистической
thoughtful
партии, если вы
and
понимаете, о чем я именно.
logical,
Кстати,
and
поэтому
he was just a
нам
pleasure to
открыли
listen
шанс на
to.
выпадение персонажа, правда, так, чтобы ничего не говорить. Приветствую, Юз. Не-не-не, нет, тут не в этом дело.
Here's my take on what we just learned. As you saw, Qianwei is highly knowledgeable. He proposes, but he is very proud and incredibly stubborn. Mingbo's plan is more thorough and more measured. You can tell he's meticulous in his work, very detail-oriented. But he and Qianwei are otherwise polar opposites. Mingbo is not very articulate and comes across as very
Про азартные
timid in
игры ты, в
conversation.
принципе, прав, но тут больше стоит о том, что правила проведения рулеток, ну, это все-таки относится к рулеткам, вот эти все лутбоксы, они обязывают выписать шансы, на которых работает твой механизм рандома. И ты не имеешь права использовать абсолютный рандом в этом плане. А по поводу ограничения на донаты, знаешь, скорее всего, из-за чего связано. Игра все-таки была нацелена на подростков, и просто-напросто сливали бы деньги в тайне от родителей, поэтому ввелись вот такие ограничения в Китае. Это есть.
Perfect summary. Paimon couldn't agree more. You're good at this, Yewan.
Last but not least, Jur-E. His manifesto is full of pertinent details, his methodology is sound, and his proposals cover a broad range of fields, which is quite a rare feat.
Тебе представь, все говорят на разных языках, как они это будут озвучить. Так, а фишка в том, что в Геншине есть разные варианты озвучки. Есть английская, китайская, японская, насколько я помню на данный момент, и немецкая. Хотя вот по поводу немецкой не уверен, а английская, китайская, японская есть точно. Как бы, поэтому можно было бы просто к персонажам определенного региона привязать определенную озвучку.
The depth he goes into in each and every area means it can only be a product of painstaking work. Plus, he is modest and good at dealing with people.
Да, как они будут друг друга понимать. Ну, это уже, конечно, да.
But what really interests me is that many of his views happen to coincide with Uncle Tien's. Having someone like Jur-E take the position would certainly put Uncle Tien's mind at rest.
Это уже другой вопрос.
We'll see.
Но хотя бы тогда можно было, то есть, делать язык, но с акцентом. Как вариант выхода из положения, можно было сделать упор на акцент. Но просто мне вот показалось, что так бы было бы интереснее. Ну, просто, понимаешь, это немножко ломает представление, что ты бегаешь по китайскому городу, это прям чисто китайский город, и у тебя все идеально говорят по-английски. Но... Нет, ты не понял, как понять, когда какую озвучку включать в случае с игроком. Если менеджер обращается к конкретному человеку, разговор ведется между несколькими. Но у каждого персонажа есть привязка к региону. То есть персонажи, которые связаны с Лиуэ, говорили бы на китайском. Те, которые связаны с Надзумой. Но я говорю, это вот сейчас упирается в тот вопрос, который написала Катя вроде бы. Как они будут друг дружку понимать. То есть, ну тут да. Это имеет проблему. Я говорю, ну тогда хотя бы можно было акценты потом подключить. Тут же нет нейтральных персонажей. Тут есть персонажи, которые связаны с регионом, так или иначе. А еще это неудобно для восприятия. Это неудобно для восприятия, но сделало бы некоторую изюминку. Я говорю, но единственный такой выход — это акцент. Ну не может вот дядюшка Тянь говорить на чисто английском языке. Не может.
All right, then let me ask this. The ideas in Jur-E's manifesto are very similar to your own. Is there any particular reason?
Oh, I didn't want to say anything when I gave you the list of candidates. Those 3 candidates have all studied but Xin Wei went on to focus on his business, and Ming Guo has always been occupied with his work at the Ministry.
Whoa! So how did you get to know them?
Chen Wei was referred to me by an old friend. Ming Guo came to my attention in the course of my work, and we first met while fishing. Gradually, as we got to know each other, we started discussing all sorts of topics. Juri came from a poor family, and his parents died when he was very young. He reminded me of a younger version of myself, so I started out giving him a few words of advice when we were out fishing, and And now, all of a sudden, he's grown into a mature young man. It's the young are growing up, and I am growing old.
Как они будут друг друга понимать, объясню так. Даже сейчас, говоря на чистом английском, это все условности для нашего понимания. На деле они говорят на своем языке в рамках своего мира. Но, понимаешь, как бы обычно... сейчас вот приплету Екатеринину любимую игру «Биомутант». Там они озвучивались на своем языке, но был диктор, который переводил это нам. Но и есть некоторые игры сейчас, наверное, даже я с лету не вспомню, где персонажи озвучивались своим языком.
I don't know, Uncle Tian.
И ты
You
понимал
still
их
seem
тупо
in
по
pretty good
субтитрам.
shape to me. You might have another few years of work left in you, don't you think?
Ну или можно пойти в стиле, как он был, автостопом по галактике, где он Полная, да.
having less energy than I
Где он
used to
засунул
is
себе в ухо
such a
золотую
good
рыбку и
thing.
понимал
It just
речи
means
всех
I finally have a
персонажей.
good reason to retire and spend my days doing what old men like me should be doing.
Sounds like you sure love fishing, Uncle Tien.
Это можно было бы обыграть.
Ooh, there's nothing quite like fishing to pass the time. Ooh, and freshly caught fish, they make the most beautiful fish soup with barely any prep.
Fresh
Можно было обыграть,
fish.
что мы слышим их так, как
Sounds
есть.
tasty.
Ага, блядь, пойман за Тардис со встроенным переводчиком. Возможно. Нет, можно было бы обыграть, что они говорят на своем языке, а мы их понимаем. И в зависимости от выбранной озвучки, как бы это была привязка нашего персонажа к какой-либо нации. Но, опять-таки, если делать много голосов, то это было бы, да, непонятно.
Doesn't it? Also, some time ago, Jury purchased a very special recipe from an old fisherman. When we've been fishing recently, Jury always brings some extra ingredients he prepared in advance. That flavor makes for a fond memory.
Oh, can Paimon come next time too? Paimon really wants to try.
Пойман лишь бы пожрать.
Let's get back to the matter at hand. Uncle Tien, we've reported back. Do you have a verdict?
Mm-hmm. I appointed you as the assessment officer. Had you not asked me why Jury's ideas were so similar to mine, I was not going to mention my history with any of them. This decision must be guided by what is fair and right. Please disregard all other considerations and make your final
Вот на листве
decision
они сэкономили.
only after a thorough
Во всяком случае,
review
вот
of
на этой,
each
которая на
candidate's
доме
talents
висит,
and
еще куда ни шло.
capabilities. Remember, you must be thorough.
Understood. Come on, let's go talk somewhere else.
Bye-bye, Uncle Tien. Look after yourself. So, it's gonna be Jiri, right? His manifesto was written well, and he's...
Easy. Let's not rush. There's no time limit.
Huh? So, are you...
No, nothing like that. The assessment itself is complete. But let me give you a word of advice. The biggest no-no in intelligence work is to only get information from the person of interest themselves. The truth is almost always hidden beneath many layers of deception. You have to get, for example...
А знаешь,
Сегодня,
почему они экономят?
Шанхай.
Потому что у них ограничение на донаты не так много денег.
Yes?
О,
Lady Yelan, what are your orders?
ниндзюки.
Ugh! Who are they? Where did they come from?
Did they scare you? These two are Wenyuan and Shanghua. As my trusted assistants, they are always standing guard nearby. Shanghua is a business expert who gets his information by trading. Wenyuan relies on word of mouth. And there's also...
That meathead must have been out there on sea surveillance for some time now. Is he all right? I seem to remember that he can't swim.
Nothing can take that guy down. Certainly not a little wind and waves.
Shanghua, visit all the commerce guilds and look into
Да нет,
Qinwei's
поскупились
background.
на самом деле.
Wenyuan, go to the Ministry of Civil Affairs and look through Mingbo's work
Конечно,
files.
конечно, ограничение только Game Pass. А вот покупка внутриигровой валюты ничем не ограничена. Но, слушай, они сделали все, чтобы покупка внутриигровой валюты была невыгодной.
Yes, ma'am.
So what about Jiri?
И вообще, Екатерина, на Рейден и Еймику они тоже не поскупились, коль пошел такой разговор.
Jir-E, well, obviously as the most promising candidate, we will be investigating him ourselves. Let's go to the docks first. Lots of people passing through.
If we're looking for information, why don't we try talking to
Ника
Bulai,
маловато,
the
что
owner of
Рейден, да.
Wonder Boutique?
Целую катану спрятали, да?
He does business at the North Wharf.
That's actually...
Просто не сочтите меня каким-нибудь извратом. Открываем галерею персонажей. Ну, тут нет. Тут тоже так себе. То, у Яемика тоже нормально. Вот тебе Шаньхэ, пожалуйста, тоже не поскупились. Еще и тряпочкой прикрыли. Вот у Сары тоже прикрыли тряпочкой. Нате вам, пожалуйста, Рейден с глубоким внутренним миром. Но тут треска. Вот у Эловы тоже. Если с другой стороны посмотреть. Вот, в принципе, если так поприглядываться, тут модельки идентичные. Они поделили их на 3 размера. Если вы понимаете, о чем я. И все. И клепают. Кстати, об модельках. Модельки реально поделенные на 3 размера, и все. Куда у нас квест свинтился? А, да? Большой кунь занимается заданием нефритовая рыбалка. Блять. Пошлите вылавливать обломки нефритового дворца. На 4 еще есть мелкие пиздюки. Ну, пошлите. Искать большого куня. А, то есть вы предлагаете мне поплавать, да? Вот эти коробочки пособирать. А вы уверены, что эти коробочки это точно вот обломки нефритового дворца, да? Ита — это отдельная песня с новыми куплетами. Настолько неравномерного использования ресурсов я еще не видел, наверное. Так, это все, конечно, весело. А как теперь вылезти из этой лужи? Ну, типа просто... Где опять галерею? Они сделали охренительную бляшку. Прям вот, ну, шикарную, будем честны. Они сделали ему достаточно классный доспех. Вот эту вот позу. То есть наголенники, вот эти браслеты, перчатки, бляха. То есть они это все сделали. На это все были затрачены полигоны. И, сука, глаз бога они ему нормально сделать не смогли. Почему? Почему он плоский? Где? Дайте мне кого-нибудь. Нет, где это? Как ее? Почему у остальных персонажей он круглый, он выпирает, то есть вот достаточно неплохо. А у Ита он плоский. Он самый шикарно проработанный персонаж. Вот чего я никогда не буду отрицать, так это того, что он самый проработанный. Но он... Где-то он слишком проработанный, а где-то они прям поскупились. Я так понимаю, они наняли нового художника. При том, что странно, в том месте, где просто копировать и вставить. Вот и я о том же. То есть, по сути, глаз бога, там меняется только одна единственная текстурка элемента. А это случаем не дядя? Да, дядюшка Тань, смотри, стоит, рыбачит. Поэтому вот, ну, в этом плане я огорчен. Мору, говорит, можешь оставить себе. А сколько моры-то? Так, здесь будет проще долететь. Объяснение одно. Бубсы это сожрали глаз бога. Да? Если тебе от этого станет легче, да. За некоторых приснов прям вау. Ита, Райден, Кандаки. Но с Кандаки я не соглашусь. Альбедо, Кицин, ебучая сеньора, которая вообще секс. Сеньору, кстати, да. Сеньору, к сожалению, мы сейчас нигде не посмотрим, но она прям классно проработана. Кандаки, ну, я не скажу, что они ее прям хорошо прорабатывали. А, подожди, можно концепт-арты посмотреть. Ну, я не скажу, что она прям сильно отличается от остальных персонажей. Вот эта вот мода на один рукав у них начала прослеживаться. Сеньоров в боссах нету. Ита, да, Ита, ну вот Ита шикарен, его сделали. Видно, что прям над ним поработали. Хотя бы потому, что у него тело не однотонное. Оно хоть как-то где-то плюс-минус прорисованное. В отличие от остальных персонажей, где просто заливочка. Кто у нас там? Ита, ну, Райден-то понятно. Где она? Вот она. Хотя, ну, я не скажу, что ее прям очень сильно прорисовывали. Они просто сделали... Они ее сделали. Это харизматичный персонаж, ей было уделено очень много времени. Но, по сути, сравнить ее с той же Йоэми будет сделано получше на самом деле. Вот. То есть детализация на Йоэми побольше, как по мне. Кандаки, извините, нет. Сочетание цветов. Мало деталей, не спорю, но так пиздато сложно. Ну, опять-таки, вот вам Сара тоже. То есть, нормальная цветовая гамма. Ух ты, нихуя себе, у нее еще и крылышки есть. Какая девочка. Я прям начинаю влюбляться. Так. Где... Где этот упырь? То есть вот тоже гармонично сложенная цветовая гамма, все хорошо. А где Альбедо-то? Я его что-то не вижу. А, вот он, возле Ганюни. Ну, да. Альбедо вот, кстати, шикарно сделан. В плане костюмчиков всех вот этих вот. Я говорю, мне не нравится, что они... Я понимаю, что это изначально была мобилка, и она унылая, это ваша хота, никаких акцентов. Зато какой характер. Я понимаю, что это мобилка, но все-таки полигонов можно было бы накинуть. То есть потратить по 4 полигона вот на эти звездочки на ремне можно было, я считаю. Так, мне нужно задание. Я же не характером играю, а перцом. Ну, нет, Хутау достаточно интересно сделано все-таки.
What's Polite doing here today?
Look, your asking price for this batch is just too high. I can't buy in at this price. How am I supposed to turn a profit?
Come on, hear me out. I'm telling you, this is the single best batch of since I accidentally dropped one into a well, and even the water turned sweet.
Even so...
All right. I'll let you in on a little secret. The boss of Second Life also wants to buy from me, but I haven't responded yet. If you won't take him, I'll just have to partner with...
Okay, well, when you put it that way, I'll... Oh, what are you doing here?
Мне не нравится.
And to be clear, these
И вот эти вот
cities are
усики...
mine. I got to them first. Don't get any ideas.
Actually, we want to ask you about a guy called Juri. Have you heard of him before?
Juri? Yes, he's quite well known. I've heard a story about him. They say he was born into poverty. One of his neighbors was terribly rude to him all the time. But Juri never retaliated. And he returned cruelty with kindness. Injustice with peace offerings. A gentleman of talent and character, and... oh, how did I not notice him sooner? In fact, maybe I'm not too late. If...
Oh, he sounds like a decent man. But
Why are you asking about him anyway? You are... Well then, in that case, the higher bidder takes the...
where?
It's him, all right. Looks like he's chatting with Linlong. Come on, try not to let him see you. We want the...
I'll just go and fetch an employment contract. And hey, don't try and cut me out of this. Hey!
I understand. Let's walk and talk. So, you were looking to buy a wineware set? Oh, now I can see that you're a connoisseur, so I won't bother trying to con you. I trust you understand our shop quite well?
Я бочку.
The truth is, an old friend of mine who likes to have a drink now and then.
What's the hurry?
Да,
Don't get too
в
close,
смысле?
or he'll see you.
Иван сомневается в ваших навыках слежки.
Try not to let him see you. We want...
I understand. Let's walk
Я,
and
знаете ли,
talk.
теперь тоже сомневаюсь в своих навыках слежки. Ой, смотрите, полуночный нефрит, целая коробка.
So, you were looking to buy a wineware set? Oh, now I can see that you're a connoisseur, so I won't bother trying to con you. I trust you understand our shop quite well?
The truth is, an old friend of mine who likes to have a drink now and then. He fancies himself as a man of culture, but doesn't care for needless extravagance. So I thought I might buy him a set of high-quality fakes.
How very thoughtful of you. Leave it to me then. Come and collect it at Shigu Antiques whenever is convenient.
Thank you very much, Miss Linlong.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Juri. These days, it's quite rare for someone of your standing to still keep up with their old friends. It's nice to see.
Мгм. То есть нормальный набор посуды ты другу подарить не хочешь, а вот высококачественную подделку хочешь, да?
Juri seems to get along really well with everyone. Are you satisfied now, Yelan? Seems.
We shouldn't jump to conclusions just yet.
Do we have to? Wait, you're not just trying to dig up some dirt on
Потерять
Juri
ее
because
где? На
you want
пустой
to be
нафиг
Tianchi
площади? Да.
yourself, are you?
Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But hey, if I do become Tianshu, you'll be able to try all the finest food for free. How does that sound?
We will? Come on! Off to the south! Off we go!
Просто купили Пайман с потрохами. Подожди. О. Угу. Что? А, книги. Ладно, хорошо. Осторожно, Мун, будет шансы, она тебя заушит в казино. Я даже не сомневаюсь. Но по поводу казино вот вряд ли. А вот если она продаст меня в рабство за чашку борща, да. Вот если бы написали вы вне зоны подслушивания вопросов, бы не было. Вот, кстати, ну да. Мелочь, а приятненько было бы. Или вам не слышно просто. Поставят все на зеро. Просто посадят мою жопу на это зеро.
The wharf is as busy as ever. I hear the anglers here sometimes sell their fish to the nearby fishmongers.
Welcome. What would you like to buy today?
Sorry to interrupt. We're actually members of the, we've heard about this young man called Juri who's supposed to be a...
Whoa! Yelan made up a whole fake identity.
Ah, yes, Juri. He's been making quite a name for himself recently. I've got some friends who travel all over the place, and they tell me everywhere they go they meet
Хорошая
someone
рыбка.
who's heard of him. Apparently, he had a rather tough time growing up. Had to work several jobs alongside it. How does that saying go? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Well, if there's anything to that logic,
Yeah, we think so too.
but I'm afraid your Anglers Association might.
Huh? What?
He's good at a lot of things, but fishing isn't one of them. He fishes at the wharf and sells. His catches are always mediocre. Not terrible, but equally nothing to write home about. If you.
That sounds fantastic. I've got a couple of other things to attend to right now, though, so why don't I come back some other time and we can chat over a drink?
Sure thing.
Everywhere they go, they meet someone who's heard of him. Come on, let's keep asking around.
Ну, давайте с этим
To buy
пообщаемся.
some fish? It's 300 for one or 3 for 1,000.
А, вот это я понимаю. Вот это правильная торговля.
You better hurry. When they're gone, they're gone.
Hello, we're from the Society...
Wow,
Society for Fish Price Research.
Please, don't worry. We've heard about a certain Juri who's been
So this isn't about me. You should have said something, you know. I know the guy. I haven't heard anything about him selling fresh fish at low prices, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was.
Oh? What?
Because he's so poor. His parents died when he was very young, and his alcoholic father still owed a huge amount. He was still a kid when he first came to the wharf. His clothes were ragged, and he had a bandage wrapped around his head, and he managed to survive, thanks to Uncle Tien, who gave him some food. But still to this day, he doesn't... I mean, he can afford to eat and everything, but you'll often see him haggling with a... It's not like he catches much anyway, so it's not going to affect my business.
You'd rather he didn't know?
Well, I spoke to him once, briefly, and I think he has pretty low self-esteem. But hey, it's hardly my place to say anything. What he's achieved already puts most... nobody's perfect. I just wouldn't want to upset him. That's all.
I see. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Not a problem. And just for the record, there's a...
The more times you say it, the less convincing.
Doesn't have a lot of more.
Так. Еще один где-нибудь торговец. Что, серьезно? У пацана?
Hey, it's you guys. Wait, what's the phrase? Oh yeah. Honored to meet you. What brings you to me?
The truth is, we are but newcomers to this territory. We heard tell of a great martial...
Really? People said
But of course, we also heard that Master Dooku is a kind and...
Great! So what do you wish to know? Nothing happens on this street that I don't...
Now she's lying to a kid.
So, Master Dooku...
Sure have. You mean that guy that all the grown-ups are talking about these days?
Может, ее лучше продавать на развес, я имею в виду. Вы рыбу-то видели? Если держать в голове, что у нормальных людей время и силы затрачены на то, что стоит денег, то что-то он продешевил.
I've heard many tales of jury, probably because it's nothing that important. I prefer stories about...
Oh, I can completely understand that. Then let me...
Oh yeah, I know that. It was about... Before that, people always used to talk about jury in a kind of nasty tone of voice. Sometimes he gives me candies, so I'm glad that people are starting to like him now.
Простите, у меня проснулся мой маленький
Just as I
носатый барыга.
Huh?
I mean, just as I thought, Master...
I'm not that... Oh yeah, one other thing. These days...
Oh, definitely.
Great! So next time I see them, I'll say hi. And...
Certainly. You can also tell my friend in Yenshang Tea House about what they're up to. I'm sure my...
Thank you, ma'am!
You're welcome. Well then.
Until we meet...
Я правильно понимаю, вот этот вот чайный дом, которым она владеет, на самом деле какой-то притон разведчиков, шпионов, скрытых там каких-то КГБшников.
Strange. Juyi seems to have a great reputation. Uncle Soon and Uncle Gao spoke highly of him.
True. But the issue is, where did his sudden celebrity come from? It almost seems...
Sudden? Too good to be true?
So he returns cruelty with kindness and had to work to support his studies. These are the kinds of things that make someone well known in their hometown. But Uncle Soon said even his friends who travel far and wide hear about him wherever they... Do you remember what Dugu Shuo said about Zhiyi's stories? Clearly they left him with a good impression of the guy. But beyond that, he wasn't interested in the D+. There's the fact that all this praise of Zhiyi has only been happening within the last 2 or 3 months. His childhood, his studies, the thing with his neighbor. None of these are recent events.
When you put it like that...
Of course, if that's all there was to it, I wouldn't look into it any further. Zhiyi was born into a poor family. Paying people to get his stories out there is within the rules of the game as far as I'm concerned. The problem is, do you remember what Uncle Gao said about him? He's stayed poor his whole life. Everything he's earned he's either spent on studying, traveling, or paying off debts. I don't think he has the right, and that changes everything. It can mean a powerful faction is trying... That's the worst case scenario. But all too often, the most...
Someone's trying to gain influence over the Chish. Even if we ask Juyi about it, surely there's...
First, we need to find out who's supporting him. Don't worry. Remember the current affairs and planning stage of the assessment? Since the successful candidate is duty-bound to implement their plan after taking office, their manifesto tells us whoever is secretly helping Zhiyi must be seeking to benefit from his actions after his appointment. So, We should be. Come on. Let's get back to Yenshang Tea House.
Ну вот, а все так хорошо начиналось. У меня, кстати, вопрос. А можно ли вот этих вот животных ловить? Какие достижения? Инвентарь. Хочу кота. Интересно, это можно было считать попадением? Цель не может быть поймана. Я понял. А, то есть, если цель нельзя поймать, у тебя не тратится этот? Сетка? Вот это, кстати, классно. Не, котику вернется. Это прям спасибо. Вот он. Рассадник. НКВД. Я так собак в городе ловить пыталась, а чё они бегают?
Looking for details that don't add up will be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I'll divide the reports into 2 piles. You take one, I'll take the other. Officially, the assessment is already over, and I'll be expected to announce the results before long.
Yikes! We better.
Whatever else Uncle Tian might think of Jur-E, the fact remains that he's one of his favorite students.
Нет, я не
Any
Корея.
evidence he's left is not going to be immediately obvious. We'll have to look
Even though Yelan, well, we got
Да ладно, Елань просто себе пустых страниц насовала. Неаутентично, казуальный геймдизайнера намыло, даешь хардкор и безвозвратную потерю предмета после использования, даешь боль отчаяния, когда потратил один единственный сюжетный предмет. О, да! Ну, слушай, это же все-таки... Не, хотя это подошло бы к Геншину хотя бы тупо потому, что дрочильня и фармильня. Проебал предмет? Давай заново, еще раз. Выбрал неправильный вариант ответа. Все, нахуй, проебал заново. Это было бы шикарно. И чтобы еще и оружие ломалось. Как в Зельде.
oh, this reading is giving.
Looks like I'm the first one back, as usual.
Oh, hey! It's one of Yelan's little helpers, Shanghua. If you're back, that means you.
You betcha. I visited all the commerce guilds and gathered a wealth of information. Every time they asked me to leave, but I always had another trick up my sleeve.
Don't drag this out. Just
Yes, Lady Yelan. To summarize my findings, most people who've had interactions with Qianwei will start out complaining about how proud and arrogant he is, but then go on to give a generally positive appraisal. The young master of the Feiyun Commerce Guild said that Qianwei appears arrogant, but he's very scrupulous in the way he works. Once he signs a contract with somebody, he treats them fairly regardless of their background.
Who'd have thought?
is it possible that his reputation is fake? Is there any way you can check the accounts of...
In theory, that should be very difficult. But here's the thing. I asked where he buys from and sells to should be confidential business information, but he doesn't seem interested in protect. Genway often sees business opportunities that others don't, but once he's made enough mora off of it, it's like he gets sick of it. It's like he wants people to know that they still can't beat him, even if he shares all of his secrets. The fact that someone like that can still make mora is pretty infuriating when you think about it.
Ты из Питера, не понимаешь, что ты их на шаурму пустить хочешь. Ой, неправильно сказал. Шаверма. Вот, молодец. Поправил.
What a strange guy. It's like he's not doing business to make mora, but
To validate his theories. No wonder his manifesto contains so many insights. It's all the result of his first...
I'm back. Huh? How
И
come you're here?
вообще, шаверму в Питере делают из котиков.
Why do you think? Obviously, because I possess superior skills and am always one step ahead of the competition. Well, when you're the competition, at least.
You... Ugh, whatever. I'm not getting into an argument with you. Lady Yelan, I have finished investigating Mingbo.
Well, we're...
The Ministry of Civil Affairs says that Mingbo struggles to get his words out when he gets nervous. But after a few days of getting to know him, you can pretty much have a normal conversation with him. On the whole, the feedback...
In your opinion, was the Ministry of Civil...
I don't believe so. Mingbo is someone who has slowly but surely earned the... According to Miss Yu, the Ministry often gets Mingbo to take a final look at projects before they're implemented. People feel much more confident in something if it has his stamp of approval. Oh, and also, there was once someone in the Ministry who was lying and cheating to try to advance their career. Mingbo gave them the skull...
whoa.
Like I said before, things are not always as they appear.
Ah! So that's what you meant.
Thank you both. You're free to go now. So, have you finished reading the map? I can't see any immediate problems looking at the individual entries. The only one that strikes me as a little unusual is the Jiangshu Pool has always been home to many secrets. Plus, Ajdaha once wrought havoc. At some point, a rumor began to go around
О,
that there
сундук,
is great
смотри.
treasure buried beneath Qi. A long time ago, with the approval of the Qixing, a mining...
So, did they find it?
None. The ruin was completely impenetrable. The only way they could have gotten through the salt... The technology wasn't mature enough at that time, so the excavation project was shut down. Zhi-Yi's manifesto focuses on solving problems, and this treasure hunt seems extreme. Still, this one fact alone doesn't tell us much. Everyone wants to get their hands on this
Excavation? Project? Treasure? Did we read anything similar in our half of the manifesto? Oh yeah! Zhi-Yi said the Blackcliff Forge workers should get right of first refusal.
Did he now? Well, that makes everything much clearer. So Zhi-Yi wants the Black...
Does that mean the Blackcliff Forge is...
No, not likely. I've looked into the Blackcliff Forge before. They aren't involved with any... They do possess some specialized explosives, but it would seem more trouble than it's worth to put so many resources into a risky project like this. Still, since the clues are pointing toward the Blackcliff Forge, we should...
Chenwei and Mingbo both turned out to be completely different than what we thought. What about Zhi-Yi?
Сундучок.
Is there a...
Ладно. Давайте попрыгаем с нефритового дворца. Юху!
This is the Blackcliff Forge. Let's look around for clues.
Обычный день, обычный день. День зарплаты. У нас трое новеньких. Удивительно, что мы до сих пор кого-то интересуем. Один из новичков довольно способен, так что мы его повысили до бригадира. Обычный день.
What's this?
From the back, it looks like a ledger. but it seems they also use it. We don't know who wrote it, but it's interesting, don't you think?
You think they're suspicious?
Yes. Look, it says right there. At this rate, by the time the Qingshu Pool redevelopment plan is ready to roll, that'll give them the chance to take a lot of liberties. They can copy any secret texts or steal any. Imagine if we didn't suspect anything. By the time Jur-E recommends the Blackcliff Forge for the excavation project, no red flags if all they did was change some key staff. And even if we decided to vet the staff individually, they'd have had more than enough time by then to come up with fake identities. That's the advantage of planning this far in advance. It was a...
When you put it like that, it all makes sense. If we hadn't
О,
found this out,
плоский
someone else
квадратный
would have stolen
канат.
the treasure. So, who's really behind
Нет,
all
смотри,
this?
не плоский, квадратный.
That's a question for the newcomers. But let's start with that word.
Excuse us.
You want them to teach you or something? I gotta say, these newcomers are in tip-top shape. My only complaint is that they're always going out drinking at night. But I guess they just need some time to adjust.
They go out drinking. This area isn't exactly renowned for...
You got that right. They tell me they go all... It rained after work today, so they actually stuck around at the site for a while. But as soon... Hey, you're only young once, right? I say, if they can hack it, let them...
Interesting. Let's go talk some...
Мне кажется, он не слишком доволен.
Looks like our hunch was on the Mora. Drinking in Liyue Harbor, huh? Some cover story. Good thing it rained today. It means they'll leave footprints. I doubt they'd give themselves away that easily, but...
They went that way. Hurry, we gotta catch up. Huh. These footprints are heading towards Liyue Harbor. Maybe we were wrong about them.
Just as I thought. They didn't go to Liyue Harbor. They went that way.
Race you!
The footprints stop here, but, judging from the direction, I'm guessing they're
Ну, подумаешь, у ребяток свой самогонный аппарат, и они там брашку гонят. Они ее обещали в долю слить, ей обидно.
Looks like we were too late. This has gotta be where the newcomers rendezvous with whoever they're working for. Look at these ashes. Someone...
Could there be anything left? Maybe the wind could have blown...
The odds of that are very slim. It's practically impossible.
Why don't we wait for them back at the Blackcliff Forge?
We can't count on that. Clearly they were based here at one point, but it's mysteriously abandoned. To me, that says that whoever's behind this has moved them somewhere...
Darn!
Make no mistake. The purpose of our trip wasn't to find it. I smelled something peculiar. Those newcomers probably thought they'd be safe as long as they burned the letters. But what they failed to consider is that paper...
Really? Paimon can't smell anything.
There is a certain place with a freezing cold climate, where there's nothing but ice. Some wealthy people there put floral fragrance in their ink. When that fragrant ink is burned, this is the exact odor that it leaves behind. Exactly. The evidence will soon be blown away by the wind, so it's nothing we can arrest anyone with. But it's all I need. Now I know who we're...
Lady Yelan! Oh, thank goodness I finally found you. I thought I'd never see you again.
О, третий прибежал.
Don't be alarmed. This is Upei. He's Wenyuan and Shang. I sent him to look into Zhi-Yi's regular contacts. Since Zhi-Yi likes fishing, Upei thought he might know some of the fishermen and sailors. I left him a note at Yanshang Tea House telling him to look for me at Blackcliff Forge when he got back. If there'd been an ambush waiting for us there, it means we'd have had some backup. So, what did you find out at sea?
Forgive my incompetence. I'm afraid I asked all the fishermen multiple times, but none of them had any interactions with Zhi-Yi before. Then the waves got so choppy I ended up falling overboard. When I got back, I heard that you'd gone to Blackcliff Forge and might need backup.
Well, Uncle Tien said that Zhi-Yi once bought a recipe from one of the fishermen.
What? That's not possible. It's absolutely not possible.
Interesting. Then I wonder how that even more wonderful fish soup came about.
И сейчас выяснится, что этот мудак нашего дядюшку травил.
Nothing. Our priority right now is to find a way to... Well, any suggestions?
В надежде, что тот поставит его вместо себя.
Not a bad idea. Upei, what do you think?
Honestly, I've already tried following Zhi-Yi, but the guy's too cautious.
Okay, so tailings.
No, we'll still need to tail him. But first...
Groundwork?
When you've worked in intelligence for a long time, you'll understand that tomorrow morning I'll announce his victory at Yohai Pavilion. Be sure to arrive on time.
С 9 до 11. Так. Ну, тут опять с горы будет проще долететь. Приземлюсь-ка я где-нибудь. О, сундук. Здравствуйте. Еще и золотой. Шикарный. Это я понимаю.
It looks like we're all here. Well then, I won't drone on about the importance of the Tianshu role. Suffice to say that Uncle...
All of us here know the score. Don't beat around the bush.
Qianwei has many pioneering ideas, but some of his plans are lacking in... Mingguo is reliable, but not quite ambitious enough. And because of... In contrast, Zhi-Yi is evenly balanced across the board after much consideration.
What?
Oh, congratulations. Thank you. Honestly, I'm a little in my estimation, all three of us are worthy candidates for the Tianshu position. Would either of you entertain the possibility of working with me in the future?
I'll have to see.
I don't mind.
Okay, well, that's all from me. Zhi-Yi, you'll have some preparation to do. It won't be long.
I will live up to the Tianshu name. I should go. I need to pack my things, and then I think a celebratory meal is in order. Would anyone like to join me?
Count me out. I'm not in the...
Zhi-Yi seems pretty relaxed now.
Hey, traveler, tell me something. What exactly does that guy have that I don't? If you can't answer that, I'm not accepting this result.
Oh no, if we get stuck...
Follow him.
Yes, ma'am.
We finally...
Lady Yelan, Jury has gone towards Feiyun Slope.
Follow him, quickly.
So Zhi-Yi really sided with the Fatui?
Дойти-то. Нет, туда.
Thinks so highly of him. Why would he do this?
Difficult to say, but everything should become a lot clearer when we find him.
Sorry, Lady Yelan. We lost. He's too good at this. We weren't able to keep
How the heck did he... I guess Jerry didn't...
No, Upe says he's much more relaxed than usual. Maybe...
What?
Don't blame yourselves. Let's not forget he was trained by Uncle Tien himself. If I'd asked you to tail Uncle Tien, you'd have ended up at a dead end too. It's fine.
Shinyue kiosk. He only went in briefly. Upe and I were watching out. A few moments later, a man dressed in a completely different outfit came out. Upe had a feeling that it was him. I figured that if we spooked him, it would undo what we've accomplished today so far. Another option, so I stopped Upe, and I stayed here to wait for you while that meathead went to ask around.
Good work. The fish didn't take the bait, but that's okay. As long as he's still swimming around, we'll find a way to... Let's go to Shinyue kiosk.
Повсюду фатуй, шматуй. Нормально. Если не они, то кто? Всегда должен быть злодей. А в нашем случае это фатуй.
Could you explain to me how that works? A guy like him comes in.
Our customers are free to dress however they please.
Okay, fair enough, but...
Well, maybe I did, but it still doesn't give...
Enough. Let's tone this down a little. I'll make this quick. Just one...
Oh, he didn't buy anything. He just picked up a bottle of liquor.
A bottle of liquor?
Yes, a very strong kind. Fiery, with... This gentleman ordered it in person from...
Liquor? And...
Where to?
Shigu Antiques.
Короче, походу сейчас дядюшку нашего траванут. Но почему злодей всегда один? Их не может быть много. Если иметь такое представление мира, у меня для вас плохие новости. Все у нас прекрасно. И у наших представлений о мире тоже.
Jerry, we're friends of his. He's been telling us how impressed he is with the...
Sure. Which model are you looking...
we don't really know a whole lot about wineware. Let's just go...
Jerry picked up his set not long ago as a quality imitation of an antique. Just so you're aware, we don't have many of this model left in stock. And now that Mr. Jerry...
Don't worry. Price shouldn't be an issue. I'm sure we can work something out. But I'm just...
For this set, the wine glasses are sold separately. Minimum purchase is 1 glass.
Okay. Thanks, Lin Long. Seems there's a little more to buying.
Well, don't take too long. We could sell out...
This is turning into a...
I'd just like to point out that we have the self-professed Grand Master of Fieldwork here to thank for...
It's not like you did any...
My specialty is information trading, okay? I don't have the physical agility. What's your
Yelan... Oh, if we can't figure out where Jerry went...
If so, it's no ordinary...
What do you mean?
First of all, Jerry isn't much of a drinker. On some level, he hates... If he was just looking to celebrate by himself, he wouldn't spend his meager savings on... No. This is a victory. Whoever this person is clearly enjoys hard liquor and has a very... Now, where might we find Fatui who match that description?
Fatui officials...
Have both locations
Lady Yelan, is it time...
Get with the program, would you? This is a covert surveillance op, in which case...
Great idea! So we...
But Lady Yelan, if we get caught, this could become a...
I'm well aware. But don't you see? Jerry is gambling everything on this. If we really want... Stick to your orders. And make sure we're covering all up...
Yes, ma'am.
Фатуй бухарик.
Don't
Ну
worry,
а
Lady
что?
Yelan. Jerry may be a slippery character, but we'll keep a close watch on the movements of all Fatui...
I'll be waiting for you at the tea house. If I'm guessing correctly, Fatui officials are likely to take action at night.
После 20:00. Опять перемот. Они там еще и на балалайках яблонят медведя со стола кормят. Как я могла забыть? Да. Ты не знала, что ли? Иди пересмотри трейлер «Снежный». Там все так и было.
Perfect timing. Wenyuan just sent word that the Fatui ambassador, Yusupov, just left the embassy alone. He's heading in the direction of Qingshu Pool.
Юсупов? Серьезно?
Qingshu Pool?
It looks like that's where they've arranged to meet. Sensible. Qingshu Pool is always crawling with monsters. Most people wouldn't dream of going there. It's one.
Oh no, we gotta go get them.
Let's go. If my hunch is correct, we.
Не Иванов, Иванов. Почему не царевич?
Oh, I don't like the rain.
This is Qingshu Pool, full of ruins, crawling with monsters. Anyone with any sense steers well clear of this place. I've looked into the place before. There's a worker's entrance somewhere around here. Follow me.
Кирпич мне в рот. Так, мне вот. Блин, я же его так до посинения бить буду. И камера не фиксируется.
Bubba, get them! Oz, reveal thyself!
О!
There's been some work done on this place in the past.
Нафига
It's a
он
bit of a
тебе?
labyrinth inside.
Он мне нужен, чтобы компас скрафтить в Ливе.
The workers left an emergency access route. If we can find it, this still, be ready to fight at any moment. Any risk.
Don't worry, we're all. By the way, Yelan.
They have other things to take care of first. We.
Ты уже набрал все сундуки в Манштате. Но, слушай, 2 локации я точно закрыл на 100%. Вообще, пусть он будет лучше, чем его не будет. Мне дали еланьку.
Gotcha.
Нормас.
Busted. Really?
Midnight! Nice and spicy! Help! Bubba, get them!
Да что ты такой, а? Мразь.
Quietly now. As I expected, but this shouldn't be too much trouble.
О, смотри, а уже в костюмчике снежный.
I see that? That's gotta be the Fatui ambassador here to meet Ji. That must be the emergency access route, right?
Мне кажется, тут какая-то головоломка, да?
Let's dance.
Race you!
This is the construction workers' emergency access route, but it's closed tight. Trying to break through would be risky. Let's see if we can find another way.
Нет, пожалуйста. Только не эти катающиеся твари.
Busted. Things are about to get dicey. Quietly now. Take it easy.
Oz, reveal the... I'll protect us. This is long
Да,
overdue.
серьезно? Блядство какое-то. Зачем кнопки регистрировать, да, Ген?
The water's gone down. Hey,
Браслетик светится. В катсценах не светился. Так, теперь надо поджечь вот эти два.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Неплохой ауешный лук, кстати. Да.
Take it easy.
Угу. Ого, привет, мужички.
Game's up. Fun's over. Gotcha.
Она мне нравится. Надо будет на реране ее как-нибудь выбить.
Take it easy.
Угу. Тут никуда залезть нельзя. Но. Ну а тут мы уже были. Я так понимаю, если я упаду в воду, все станет плохо.
Take it easy.
Угу. Угу.
The waters flowed into the groove, and now the statues have lit up. Okay, now we should be able to move the statues.
Ну тут-то понятно. Жалко, что на синий никак ничего не завязано. Так это слишком просто. Еще сундук, смотри.
We should be nearly at the bottom now. Let's wrap this up.
Ну нет.
As you wish, mein Fräulein.
Busted. Things are about to get dicey. Gotcha.
Ульта у него классная.
Take it easy.
Так, а можно еще раз? Что у него за сборка тут? Ну, сборка у нее просто древней знати, а на оружие симулякрум. Если бы еще и на синих было бы слишком сложно.
I'm impressed. Come on, bottoms up. After you, of course.
Oh, sorry, that went down the wrong way.
You'll get there. If you want to stay friends with us, you have to drink with us.
Типичный Юсупов из типичной Снежной.
I'll do my best.
You're more of a lightweight than I thought. Already struggling after one glass? I thought you were made of sterner stuff. You certainly kept it together when you were poisoning your teacher's soup. Come on, another round.
Sure. You didn't leave me much of a choice, though, did you? Just the mention of... I'm more timid than you realize. Every time I poisoned him, I had to hide away at home for a few days because I was so scared of getting caught.
Look, I know it has not been easy for you, my friend. We appreciate all your hard work. But I have to say,
Где вот этот вот
you really
русский
are quite a
акцент?
genius at poisoning people. I mean, the poison we brought from Snezhnaya is as strong as this wine, but you found a way to turn it into an imperceptible, slow-acting... what was it you said? Oh, yeah. You said the soup's fishy flavor neutralizes the pungency of the poison, and this process...
It struck me one day when I was fishing. I'm lucky it did.
You have performed excellently. The Fatui will continue to provide the support you need to consolidate your position as... Aside from Qingshu Pool, we also have some other requests.
Don't worry. Whatever tasks...
Did you hear that? It was poison! What a nasty guy.
Hold on. Did you bring a camera? If not, you can use mine. This is quite a scene. We have to...
Excellent liquor. We've seen no progress on the diplomatic front, and everyone has been eyeing up the treasure. But soon, everything will be taken care of. I remember when I first saw you. I knew right away that you would make a good partner for us. Hey.
How could I forget? You said a lowly commoner like me could never be seen as a serious candidate for the Tianshu. The only way is for you to shine bright in the Tianshu's darkest moment. I think you were absolutely right.
Yes, under normal circumstances, the gap between you and... Just look at your two competitors. Qianwei had wealth. Mingbo had reputation. And that's why I decided to help you. You know, there's an old saying in the Fatui. Give a starving dog a bone, and it'll guard your home for the rest of its life.
Yes. I cannot thank you enough for your...
You know, the best thing about you is that you do as you're... heck, when you're not in the company of the Fatui, you'll be able to throw your weight around...
Uncle Gao said that Zhi has low self-esteem. Seems he was right. He was worried that whatever advantage he might have now will diminish over time. So the Fatui Do you have any more film in the camera? Then get ready to use it. How well this goes for us.
Ooh, is there any more alcohol? Go on. Fill me up. I'm in a good mood today.
There's only a little left. Here, I'll fill your glass. If you like it, I can bring you some more next time.
Whoa, this is the good stuff. It is, huh? Zhi, you poisoned my wine?
You seem surprised, Mr. Yusupov.
How could you?
How could I not? I've sacrificed years of my life studying and reflecting to prepare myself for this position. And in the end, you really think I'd put myself through all that just to become you?
You imbecile. It's the Fatui who got you to where you are. Do you understand?
Do you see the haystack in the corner? Underneath it is a pile of explosives. And next door in the dark room are the 3 undercover agents you sent to infiltrate the Black Cliff Forge. I'm gonna stay here till I see you slip into unconsciousness. Then I'm gonna set this on fire. Once the flames burn through the hay, they'll ignite the explosives. The ruins will collapse.
What do you...
I took the liberty of leaving some evidence of your contact with the undercover agents at the Black Cliff Forge. It won't take long for people to join the dots. The Fatui planted undercover agents in the Black Cliff Forge to steal their signature ruin-grade explosives. Their plan was to blow through... but things didn't quite go to plan. Faced with the overwhelming evidence, the embassy won't investigate this any further. In fact, it explains why you acted alone, while exonerating the rest of the embassy of any liability. Of course, none of that will have anything to do with me. When all of this comes to my attention, I'm afraid I'll have no choice but to cancel the Qingshu Pool
Zhi, do you really think you're gonna get away with this? The Fatui has a record of everything. That includes the poison, all interact... After I die, they'll come looking, and they'll get to the bottom of this.
A record? Oh, you must mean the one in the hands of your second-in-command,
Yeah, fun.
Theophon.
How?
Because when you contacted me, I also made contact with your associates. I have Theophon to thank for providing me with the poison eye. He'll help me tie up all the loose ends. After all, your untimely demise, he has been eyeing your position for a long time now.
That traitor!
Relax. It's over. After tonight, everyone gets what they want. Sweet dreams, Mr. Yusupov.
А где те... Ну,
I
я
did
на
a little
шпионов
surveying on the
посмотреть
way
хотел.
here and found that you'd left yourself 3 escape routes in case things went south. I have them all surrounded. If you're thinking of trying anything, we were here the whole time and have pictures of everything.
The game's up? Forgive, I happened to discover a Fatui operation here, so I approached them on the pretext of joining forces and eventually brought them down from within.
This is how you want to play it, huh? Fine. You do you. All we need to do to convict you is establish that the poison in his system is the same as... Nothing else you want?
One wrong move and it all comes crashing down. You followed him here, didn't you? I was so focused on keeping myself out of sight. Let's talk about this, Yelan. I gave you my word that I would live up to the Tianshu name.
Your point being?
When I take office, I can guarantee that I will act in your best interests. In fact, all of you here tonight can expect very generous treatment in the future. I don't deny that I used underhanded methods to get here. But given my lowly origins, what other choice did I have?
Наивный.
You still don't get it, do you? What do you think? Exactly. Jur-E, clever people can always come up with a good excuse. But while you might be able to get other people to believe you, there's nothing wrong with wanting to win other people's respect. But when has Uncle Tien ever... He was like a teacher and a father to you, but you chose to repay that by poisoning him. Whatever...
That's enough.
Of course. What makes this even crueler is that you managed to convince yourself there was no other way. Uncle Tien was always... Out of everyone in the world, he is the one who trusts you the most.
That's enough!
Life is like fishing. It cannot be rushed. Whatever you do, impatience will accomplish nothing. I was just like you once, desperate to prove myself. Only later did I realize things do not always turn out the way you plan, but you have to keep calm to carry on. You're still young. Be patient, believe in yourself, and don't look outside yourself to prove your value. Where's Jury these days? It's been a long time since he last paid me a visit.
Maybe he's just busy.
Well, next time, if he doesn't bring a pot of piping hot fish soup, don't let him in.
Whatever you were thinking about, you'll have plenty of time to mull it over in prison. Oh, I almost forgot. If the Fatui find out what happened today, prison might not turn out to be the safest place for you. Trying to have friends on both sides, it has a way of turning everyone against you. But right now, I have an opportunity for you.
Huh?
Sorry, things are about to get extremely busy for me. Let's meet at Yen. I'll have someone remove the explosives. Then, there's someone I have to go and see.
Need our help with that?
No, it could be dangerous. You should leave this one to the perfect. Don't worry. As long as they're willing to cooperate, get some rest.
Так, отдайте мне сундук. Где? Тут сказали, тут шпионы с Черногории валяются пачками. Где они? Эх. Рабочий день закончился и все такое. Ну да, ну да. Дождитесь 8 утра следующего дня.
There is now no poison left in his system, but recovery from the damage already done will not happen overnight.
Dr. Baishu, is my father...
You needn't worry too much. Keep taking the prescribed medicine every day.
2-3
and a
года.
full recovery. It's good we caught it in time. A few days later, and the toxin would have built up in the internal organs.
How did they successfully secure such a seldom-seen poison? It seems the Fatui are
Да, тут еще и
extremely
змеюка
resourceful.
разговаривает.
Unfortunately for them, they were up against us.
Uncle Tian will be heading off now. Remember to get plenty of rest and avoid overexerting yourself while you're recovering.
Don't worry, I will. Thank you very much.
Чекири придет пищать, подожди.
Ah, you're here too? Thank you for all you've... Yes, the exhaustion seems to have gone.
Luckily, it looks like choosing the Tianshu's successor is suddenly not such a pressing...
Hey, Yelan!
My work is mostly wrapped up, so I thought I'd... The assessment process comes to an end here, Uncle Tian. In my opinion, Zhi is not suitable for the position. But Chenwei and...
You have my gratitude. People can change their loyalties easily.
Is it just Paimon, or is...
Don't underestimate Uncle Tian.
Там
He
кошак
wouldn't
он
have appointed
подтягивается.
me as assessment officer if he hadn't had his doubts about Zhi. Normally, the Yuehai Pavilion would be responsible for assessing the candidates. Isn't that right, Uncle Tian?
Yes, to be quite honest, I wanted to trust him unreservedly. When I first met Yuri, I wondered if he had approached me with a hidden agenda. I concluded that he had no ulterior motives whatsoever. In the end, even he changed. I never had any plans to recommend him directly, but I always intended to give him the chance to compete on a level playing field. I had no reputation to speak of when I first became Tianshu. I relied on Ganyu's assistance for all manner of things.
I have to admit, he's a smart guy. And very... The intel suggests that the Fatui saw him as very low risk. But Zhi was still extremely... He chose that specific liquor from Xinyue Kiosk because the fiery flavor would mask the bitterness of the poison. And he also installed a secret compartment in the wine pot he bought to hold the poison. As the amount of liquor went down, he'd shake afterwards. We also found he had an antidote on him. Had the Fatui official grown suspicious, Zhi would have drunk the poisoned wine himself, and then found an opportunity to take the antidote shortly afterwards.
But that's still really dangerous.
Yes, had he drunk the poisonous wine, he still would have faced serious health consequences despite taking the antidote. He didn't hesitate to put himself in harm's way to achieve his goal.
How is Jer...
Well, I mean, he's sitting in a jail cell. Like Yanfei says, everyone who breaks the law has to pay. Still, he's cooperating. He didn't turn down my offer to strike a deal. I'll make sure there are plenty of guards around to keep him safe.
A deal? Does this have to do...
Yes, Zhi's not the one I'm interested in. If he was as far as this went, I'd have handed the case off to my subordinates as soon as I realized. But once the Fatui became involved, things got a whole lot more interesting.
Well, did you?
Almost. Unfortunately, it slipped off the hook at the last second.
Uncle Tian? Yelan? What are you talking about? Paimon?
Zhi colluded with the Fatui to try and secure the position of Tianshu. Or, to put it with Yusupov in our hands and a statement from Zhi, we could afford to continue with a diplomatic effect. Also, we'd be able to gain control of Theophan, Yusupov's second-in-command. Then we'd have a pawn in the ranks of the Fatui. Pawns like this can be major assets.
Напомню, его потомки библиотеки одна и та же система урона физический, ментальный, летальный. Ну и четвертый там какой-то... Нет. Но в лоботомке 4 урона было, и к нему, соответственно, были свои резисты. А в руине есть физический урон и ментальный урон, но там совершенно по-другому. Ну, там 2 типа урона.
Why else did you think I was investing so much time and effort in...
Точнее, типов урона там дохренище, но в основном именно вот он завязан на эффект. То есть, условно, кровотечение бьет исключительно по ХП и прочее. Ну а так там физический, ментальный. Выносишь всю ментальную полоску, у тебя урон x2 становится.
But when we tried to make contact with Theophan, he would...
The Fatui must be spying on us.
I found out from other sources that the Harbinger Regrator got involved.
Предвестник Панталоне.
Fatui's main forces aren't concentrated here. Regrator was only treating this as a peripheral concern. It's a pity that Theophan got away. But knowing which Harbingers are still looking at Liyue is something. It gives me a...
I have to ask, Yelan. Do you have any desire? I remember you showed some interest a few days ago at Yenshang Tia.
Oh, that. I was obviously joking. I prefer my current life. There's danger and there's excitement. Although it'd still be a behind-the-scenes role. As Tianshu, I wouldn't have the chance to get involved in it. All right, I'm done here. Time for me to go. I'm heading off again in a...
Where are you off to this time?
As you might have guessed. But I'm sure if you keep going as you are, getting yourselves involved in other people's business all the time, maybe I'll see you the next time danger beckons. Until then, keep your wits about you. If you have any more questions,
Это как-то они
just
затянули
ask
это
Uncle
задание
Tian.
на самом деле.
After the recent turn of events...
Слишком много диалогов. И вот что меня, наверное, огорчает, они делают задания из серии а-ля там расследования, детективчики, все такое. Причем это уже не первое, по сути дела, если разобраться. И у тебя нет выбора. Я понимаю, это, конечно, не какой-нибудь там, как его называли-то, Детройт, это не игра от Quantic Dream, но, блин, ну хоть какие-то возможности дайте. Какие, значит, вот он калибру нужно добавить аномалии и оружие под названием Путь боли с чистым ментальным уроном, что будет буквально сжигать нервную систему. И слезы отчаяния будут обращаться в пар от выходящих из всех отверстий пламени. Да. Это тебе где? Обратись, он у нас великий мододел. Так, ну и давайте, наверное, где? Рыжий Клён, вот это все, вот это вот. Так, подожди, нам в Инадзуму надо. Вот ты не мог выбрать место получше. Почему вот ровно между двух телепортов, твою мать? Кстати, сейчас подойдем, посмотрим на этот. На таймер у этих. Простите, у меня ХК-флешбеки. Кстати, вроде был мод на лоботомку в ККшном стиле. Сейчас посмотрим, когда обновление сетей. Да, то есть 5 штук в неделю. 2 дня, 9 часов. Это грустно, на самом деле. Хотя, с другой стороны, зная, как чайник грузит животные... Если ты часто будешь просто забывать про эту сраную сеть. Да она мне, по сути-то, и нахер не нужна. Я в лучшем случае буду бегать там. О, прикольная животина, надо ее поймать. Но это все настолько притянуто за уши. По сути, сейчас чайник превратился в систему того, что я насую везде и всякого, чтобы мне больше капало голды. Все.
So many things have happened since then. Yeah, we've definitely made some progress on our journey.
Чтобы ножками дорогого тоже в кадр не возишь большой жирный пиксель. У меня, по сути, в чайнике-то во всем доме, ну, сделано от силы 2 или 3 комнаты красиво, а все остальное используется как кладовка, в которую я засовываю все и всех, чтобы просто получать от этого очки.
So, where should... Huh?
Уф.
Hey! What the heck was that for? Doesn't want to talk, huh? All right, let's convince him to calm down a little.
Huh? So you don't have a vision after all? Seems like I've mistaken you for
At the very least, you should make sure you... No, wait! Even when you've got the right person, you shouldn't go attack...
Have you ever met someone by the name of Kаэдэхара Kazuha? He carries a sword just like you. I've
То есть
also
ты как
heard
понял,
that
что
he
ты собрал все
possesses an
сундуки на
animal
локации.
vision.
Отматываешь карту назад, и у тебя показывает количество этих процентов. Если у тебя 100%, значит, ты собрал все.
That's none of your business. Never mind. You don't look like you know anything anyway. I'm wasting my time.
What the heck is this guy's problem? Coming around here, waving that weird sword in our faces? Well, one thing's for sure. No way are we telling him anything about Kazuha. Hey! Don't be mean! Anyway,
Очень сообразительно.
we should go find Kazuha right away. Oh? What kind of hunch? A special connection? You mean beyond already? Yeah. Maybe a little. Anyway, there's no time to lose. Paimon heard that the Crux fleet is stocking up in Rito at the moment. Let's look for...
Странная безлюдная дорога. То есть, вот видишь, тут прогресс 53, 31, 63. А когда ты собираешь все, у тебя вот так вот красиво соточка вырисовывается. Так, а что это у нас тут такое? Тут у нас... Тут у нас то, что я дебил. Лазил в прошлый раз, искал. Сам Манштадт к чему относится? А ты телепортируйся туда и открой карту. Когда ты стоишь где-либо, у тебя, вон, видишь, справа, где вот в правом углу написано «Остров Нураками». То есть, скорее всего, вот это вот у тебя все будет остров. Ну, давай тэпнемся в Манштадт, я посмотрю. К долине звездопадов он относится. То есть вот так вот как-то это. Всегда, пожалуйста. У нас какой-то стрим сегодня интересный. Я отвлекаюсь на все подряд. То мы чьи-то сиськи рассматриваем, то объясняем, как картой пользоваться.
You're looking for Kazuha too, huh? Guess he must have done something impressive after all. Well, we took the small vessels into Rito on a routine supply run. If it's because of that battle on Nizuchi Beach, Captain Beto had a great run there too, but I don't see her getting this kind of attention. Kazuha keeps to himself most of the time. In fact, there are times when he doesn't even listen to the captain, but she just laughs it off.
Заебали квесты, в которых текста больше, чем дохуя. Сколько можно-то дойти лежать? Да, да.
I've heard bits and pieces. Something about him blocking the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. Is it really as big a deal as everyone's making it out to be? Really? Wow. When you put it like that, it all makes sense. He was called away earlier by some people from the Tenryou Commission. They said they had something important to... I thought they'd come to arrest him at first. Turns out they couldn't have been friendlier to him. Seems like they really respect the guy.
Just a little while ago, this would have been completely unimaginable. Thank you. Guess we'll go pay.
All right then.
Что-то как-то
I'll just stay
очень...
here and
Очень сомнительно, что его не хотят накуканить. Серьезно? Игра? Да, блять. Ёбаный. А, зачем я вообще сюда пришел? Мне, походу, не сюда. А я тут иду, как дебил.
Oh? It's you.
Greetings. We were just discussing the repealing of the Vision Hunt Decree. Since you're here, you're very welcome to listen. We invited Mr. Kaiéhara here to extend a gesture of goodwill. Your hard work has secured for us the agreeable state of affairs that we now enjoy. Also, I've been granted the chance to correct. The Almighty Shogun has issued a large array of directives aimed at resolving, or at least easing, the tensions that have built up over the years. The Tri-Commission has made the recommendation to use this opportunity to restore the honor of the Kaiéhara name. Regarding the history of the Kaiéhara clan, I trust that you're already somewhat informed? In short, there was once a group of select bladesmiths who served the Shogun directly, responsible for upholding and further developing the traditional blade forging arts of the... But there came a time when some of these bladesmiths revolted and fled to Snezhnaya. Both the Kaiéhara and Kamisato clans were held accountable for lax oversight and entered a period of great turmoil. We later learned that the whole misadventure had been secretly orchestrated by the Fatui, attributing all of the blame to the Kamisato. Considering Mr. Kaiéhara has once more made an outstanding contribution to Inazuma, the Almighty Shogun believes he should not only be rewarded for his... In the interest of preventing further harassment of the Bladesmith clans by the Fatui, we chose
как можно
not to
было меня
publicly
спутать
release
с
the
ним?
findings of our investigations into these matters. We trust you can understand why this was necessary.
This is a true honor. I am delighted to be in a position to receive the goodwill of the Almighty Shogun. However, would I be correct to assume that this...
I can assure you that nothing could be further from the truth. We seek only to correct a past. With the Kaiéhara clan's reputation and occupation restored, the Kaiéharas will be bladesmiths once more, and your wanderings will finally come to an end. You will be able to lead a safe and prosperous life in Inazuma City, with the Almighty Shogun's blessing and full support of the Shogunate.
I have grown accustomed to life among the elements. I fear I would no longer feel at home. Yet my ancestors did indeed take great pride in the name of Kaiéhara. And the...
I sense some hesitation in your words. Should you accept this offer, I imagine many of the malicious rumors currently
Malicious rumors? All we heard on the way here was so much praise that we almost wondered
Well, to some, the Muso no Hitotachi is something that can never be defeated. They cannot accept the idea that Mr. Kaiéhara really parried the Shogun's strike. Also, eyewitnesses saw him using the power of Electro in addition to that of Animo. As a result, the falsehood that Kaiéhara Kazuha was using a delusion began to spread.
What? But that doesn't make sense.
That is correct. However, to some people, the idea of a single person wielding two elements at once is a more inconceivable...
А можно я сейчас выйду и посоздаю какие-нибудь энергетические шарики разных стихий и пожонглирую ими? Пусть их кондрашка
This
хватит.
is just one of many similar rumors. I am very uncomfortable with being the subject of public discussion, but perhaps if the Shogunate is willing to publicly support me,
This is precisely why I encourage you to give our offer some serious thought.
please allow me some time. In fact, let us put this discussion on hold for the moment. Well then.
Yikes! We nearly...
Why would such a dangerous individual be looking for me? No. This puzzles me. My fighting forms were taught to me by my family, based on techniques originally developed for blade testing. We undergo rigorous training to standardize every motion the blade is put through, so that over time these techniques came to form something of a Kaidohara sword art, focused on blade testing, but with a full repertoire of combat forms. Those forms are quite different from the more practical ones typically used by samurai in battle. So it's hard to imagine that the similarity...
All the more reason to watch your back!
Indeed. He sounds highly aggressive. Anyone he targets is at risk of serious injury.
In that case, I will send...
Thank you. I must say, I am now very curious about this matter. I will first join the traveler in investigating the one who attacked her. Then give...
Very well. Please stay safe.
Ну, давай.
Let's go and track down your
Пошли. Я хочу ломать лица. Хотя с твоей аниме-стихией...
knows the most about what goes on in town. Let's see what Ryuji has to say.
Я в Геншин пришел не диалоги слушать. Я в Геншин пришел играть. Послушать диалоги я могу в каком-нибудь Детройте и Хэви Рейне.
Hey there, we'd like to ask you a quick question. Do you know if anyone around here has been looking for him? For Kaidohara Kazuha, we mean.
Aha! So this is the renowned Mr. Kaidohara. I've heard a lot.
You are too kind. We are currently investigating an assault and would appreciate any help you can
Даже в Диско Элизиуме больше, мне кажется, активности, чем тут.
Oh? You were targeted in an assault? Mr. Kaidohara is currently the talk of the town. To be honest with you, our detective agency has recently been receiving many inquiries from people wishing to obtain Mr. Kaidohara's personal information. Some of them were offering us millions of mora just to gather the information they want. If these were more legitimate...
Millions? Of mora?
Please, accept my thanks for...
Of course. No matter what, we only take on legitimate cases. We don't make our money by revealing details of other people's day-to-day life just for the sake of it. Sorry. Ты даже не слушаешь диалоги, ты их читаешь. А в Диско Элизиуме, кстати, вроде бы русскую озвучку добавляли, если мне память не изменяет. But I wouldn't know where to begin if we want to connect.
Then let's put that connection aside for now. Have there been The Tenryou Commission had very few leads. I thought you might have some info.
It's true that the commissioners aren't clued up about every little thing that goes on out in the streets. But if anyone had been out there attacking people, that would be assault.
Uh-oh. Looks like the trails are...
I still find it difficult to believe that whoever attacked you hasn't been causing any trouble elsewhere. Few people possess your prowess in battle. So unless you were the first person he targeted, someone is certain to have been hurt. I am well aware of your talents. There is no need to be humble around me. It would cause me great grief to see someone become critically injured, or for the poor victim, this would be a...
Don't worry, we'll find...
It seems you are every bit the selfless hero they make you out to be, Mr. Kaidohara. Surely this same concern for your fellow man...
You flatter me.
You are much too humble. Don't worry, I completely understand. Oh, actually, there was one strange... Let me tell you about it, just...
Sure. During time...
All right, then. Recently, two people went missing. One of them is a pretty well-known collector, surnamed Nagato. The other, Amenoma Yuya, is a samurai from the Amenoma clan.
Amenoma? Now there's...
Right. Yuya is the nephew of Amenoma Togo, the owner of Amenoma. Two grown men going missing at the same time.
Они просто решили пожениться на каком-нибудь отдаленном подвале этой, как ее, Кокоми или как там ее звать-то?
I recalled this because Amenoma Yuya is also an accomplished martial artist who is skilled with the blade. Perhaps he is the one you are looking for.
Understood. Though it seems
Да,
highly
вот
unlikely
в
to
том
me.
самом
I
подвале
neither know
БДСМ.
this man, nor do I
Я,
have
кстати,
any
так и не
idea
понял,
why
как
he
туда
may wish
попасть.
to attack me.
Я думал, он будет в этой... в задании легенды Кокоми, но хрен там плавал.
Sure, can't hurt.
Thank you, Ryuji. We'll start by making...
Sounds good. All the best with your
У тебя она не
investigation.
открыта? Нет.
I'll get moving shortly myself.
То есть у меня вот это последнее, что меня связывает с Инадзумой, ну, за исключением квестов мира. Квесты мира я не проходил. Где задание легенд. То есть у меня вот осталось 3 задания, оно все в суммеру. Нет, спасибо. Я не горю желанием получать плетки и кляпы. Во всяком случае, сейчас. Я так и не понял, откуда оно берется, потому что не в сюжетке... Дисколизиум, кто-то сказал дисколизиум, кто сейчас сказал разговорная адвенчура. Отчаяние, что заставит твои слезы испаряться от исходящего изо всех технических отверстий пламени. Она по заданиям мира и открывается. Ну тогда как-нибудь в следующий раз мы до него дойдем. Потому что у нас все равно это все проходить.
After I returned to Inazuma, I visited Mr. Amenoma to pay... let me quickly explain. The Raiden Gokaden was the collective term for the 5 most acclaimed bladesmithing. The techniques of blade making were personally bequeathed to the Raiden Gokaden by the almighty Shogun. And over time, unfortunately, a series of events led to the gradual decline of many clans in the bladesmithing trade. Today, only the
So sad.
It is a great pity indeed. In the old days, we each had our specialties. As an example, the Amenoma art strives to emulate the abiding. There is nothing mystical to our work. There is only practice, day in and day out. As for the art of the Kaideihara clan, I believe...
That's right. Ishin art strives for complete harmony between blade and mind, for only a blade thus forged can capture and convey its maker's thoughts and feelings.
Indeed. Most samurai choose their blades, but an Ishin blade chooses its owner. You are, without a doubt, the most worthy wielder of an Ishin blade. It gladdens my heart to see that all...
You overestimate me. My actions are guided by my own personal sentiment. But let's get back on topic. The purpose... We hope to assist with the investigation. It may turn out that this...
yes. My nephew.
Кстати, единственный прям нормальный такой детектив с этой сопоставлением у нас был в сюжетке, когда мы в колесе сансары крутились. К примеру, вот там было действительно интересно. Вот там они молодцы, а здесь просто диалоги.
He didn't say a word before he left, which is very unlike him. But I've done what I can so far. Worrying is futile.
We heard that there was a collector involved in the disappearance.
Yes. On the morning that Yuya went missing, he gave me a very cryptic look, and I believe he went to collect the item from Mr. Nagato. After that, the next... Yes. Strange, isn't it? If I had to guess, it must have been some kind of rare weapon. He's never been particularly interested in blade forging, but has always had a fondness for blade testing. He is extraordinarily talented.
Truth be told, we have some information that you may find to... Based on the evidence we have gathered so far, only Yuya seems...
What? No. Absolutely impossible. Yuya, he is humble and kind. Even his training is done with the goal of calming his mind.
Is that so?
Yes. If there's one thing I can say for certain, but with that said, It's equally out of... I also cannot know what course of action he might be capable of if... Anyway, should you find him...
Don't worry. You have our word.
From the sound of that, Paimon doesn't think Yuya was the one who attacked us as well.
Yes. It sounds as if something happened when the two... Let's pay a visit to the Naga...
Почините ёбаное круговое колесо. Пожалуйста. Сколько можно-то?
I'm very sorry, but we cannot afford. My husband has gone missing, and I'm still.
No. You misunderstand us. We are here to help with the invest.
Ah, I see. I'm sorry you have to see me in this dreadful state.
I'm afraid we don't have any new information at the moment. With this in mind, can we perhaps ask some questions about...
For example, Paimon's strep...
That's a long story. He'd always get so animated when he was showing them to me. I knew nothing about the items myself, but seeing how enthusiastic and everything was fine when we first got married...
Uh-oh!
He lost his sense of restraint. He started buying more and more things. Our expenses really spiraled out of control when he started getting interested in weapons. It was awful. There were days when he'd spend hours down at the warehouse, admiring his weapons, even his debt. He wouldn't sell them, wouldn't even touch them. Just said, I'm happy he has a hobby, and I'm willing to support him. But making ends meet has to. On the last day that I saw him, I gave him an ultimatum. I said, if he refused to sell his collection...
Whoa!
And that led...
Actually, it didn't. Generally, he's a quiet man who likes to go with the flow. You must understand, I never would have dreamed of threatening him with divorce if... After I said those words, he froze and was silent for a long time. His voice was so meek and pitiful that I felt an urge to take everything back. But then what? If I didn't draw the line, what would happen to our family? Had I not indulged his bad habits, we wouldn't have... And I also don't know if he had actually come... The next thing I heard was that our warehouse had caught fire.
I see. Amenoma Yuya came to purchase a weapon from Mr. Nagato.
At first, I assumed they must have gotten into an... But my husband has never been one to negotiate. He never even haggles when he's out buying groceries, so...
Maybe he was...
I don't know. He just perhaps he's too afraid to come home, now that all his collectibles have been lost in the fire. Even though I'm still a little mad at him, as long as he's willing to turn over a new leaf, I know we can work things out.
Please don't get upset. There could be more to this situation than if collecting things is a habit that Mr. Nagato had his whole life. It is quite unusual but the information we gathered from the other side suggests... This situation...
A little confusing. More like...
Let's try a change of scenery and see if we can... Rest assured, we'll notify you.
Thank you so...
Мало активностей. Но хотя бы меня не попросили оттуда вот до этого мостика дойти. На том спасибо. Они прописывают неплохие сюжеты, то есть все вот эти вот диалоги, описания. Но это ни к чему.
Nope, never mind. Paimon's brain needs to rest for a while. Over to you.
An interesting explanation. Amenoma Yuya is an expert on swords. He could have known. Maybe he recognized a blade as a fake, or a well-known stolen item. Either way, after they thought a fire would destroy everything. But then the Tenryou Commission began investigating. But it's a far-fetched theory. I can't imagine. One fact that I keep coming back to is that Amenoma Yuya is Mr. Nagato, being heavily in debt, is also the only one of them with the potential motive to disappear after the more I ponder it, the more puzzling it becomes. Just right. Although the time frame seems to broadly match, no other details that we've learned seem Amenoma Yuya lacks a key distinguishing feature of the attacker, namely that he is principally a practitioner of the blade testing techniques of Amenoma art, not those of the combat-oriented Ishin art.
Darn! We thought we could get 2 birds with 1 stone here.
Let's keep going. If we can solve the case, both Mr. Amenoma and Mrs. Nagato.
Okay, but...
Let's head out of the city and check out the warehouse.
Так, куда нам теперь? Ну, тут хотя бы недалеко. Просто все вот это... Я не понимаю. Почему.
Wait, I hear something ominous.
Oh! This must be another one of those, as sketchy as that whole thing seems. You did put it to good use when we were chasing down that...
Now I'm picking up a strong scent in addition to the sound.
Он спрятался в кустах помидорки.
It's gone now, but I can still sense the door. It felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma. The remnants of the Tatarigami. Indeed. But this unexpected spring of inauspicious... We should remain vigilant.
Huh! So it's an underground...
The force is definite. The source of the Tatarigami energy has long since... Judging from the concentration...
Mrs. Nagato said her husband used to hang around the warehouse by himself.
It could well be that he was already under the influence of Tatarigami energy at that time. From what I've been told, Tatarigami, but most will develop a stubborn streak upon being exposed to the Tatarigami's unfulfilled will. Mr. Nagato had an interest in collecting to begin with. The influence of Tatarigami could explain why he became an...
So what should we...
Step back. I'll open the door and take a look. If we don't open this door, we can move no... You needn't worry. Both of us have faced...
Какой-то таригами. Что за хрень вы несете?
What's down there?
Everything's buried in debris. It looks like the fire caused a cave-in, reducing the entire warehouse to rubble.
That was too scary! Paimon was...
All we can do now is keep searching in the direction that the Tatarigami entered. 2 ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. Yes, let's go. Quiet your mind and focus on what...
Так, стоп, тут где-то я... это типа дым, что ли? Или это... это сила... Это как раз-таки та могучая сила. Да зачем тут чувство стихии? Тут и без чувства стихии все хорошо видно.
From this point, the trail appears to split into 2. The main source of the Tatarigami energy continued on into the distance, but a small portion remained...
Whoa! Look at all those hilly churls! They're acting really strangely.
Something seems to be drawing their attention.
Смотри,
Let's take a
копают.
closer look.
Вот что мешало мне сейчас дать помахать мечом персонажем?
No touching.
Где пробный заказ? Вот и я о том же.
By the looks of it, a letter written on a piece of torn clothing. Well,
Меня зовут Нагата, меня ранил Мануя. Он украл мой самый дорогой меч, я погнался за ним, но не смог догнать. От усталости я прилег здесь отдохнуть. Рана в моем животе не перестает кровоточить. Думаю, мне осталось недолго. Хотя я чувствую, что какая-то странная сила поддерживает меня. Зачем ему красть мой меч? Мы уже договорились, что я продам его ему. Вдобавок он сжег мой склад. Больно, мне так больно, но я почему-то не теряю сознание. Единственное, что я могу сделать, чтобы отвлечься от боли, это писать. Что будет с Сатика и Юити и Юдзи? Я виноват перед ними. Только сейчас я понял, что упорствовал в своих заблуждениях. Должно быть, я проклят. Я коллекционировал все эти странные причудливые вещи, но они не принесли мне ни капли счастья, ни тепла. Даже все вместе не стоят ни единого ее слова. Спасибо, Сатика. Мне очень жаль, что я подвел тебя.
According to this letter, a conflict arose because Yuya started the fire that destroyed the warehouse and wounded Mr. Nagato in the fight. Mr. Nagato kept chasing.
So,
He was not only mortally wounded, but also under the heavy influence of Tatarigami. Whatever traces there may have been of his fate beyond after this point, they've since been disturbed by the hilly churls. Yes, right, if Amenoma Yuya is attacking other people indiscriminately, then the longer we take...
right. So let's get moving.
I wouldn't be surprised if he, too, for a practitioner of the martial arts, the easiest desire to all the clues that at first seemed disparate and I have a hypothesis that, if it's correct...
Wait, you figured it...
I believe so. But it's something of an... On with the search. We must stay vigilant.
В смысле? В смысле в море?
He seems to have stayed here.
Why here?
I'm not sure. But on closer examination...
Show yourself!
Kaideha Kazuha. It's you, at last.
Aha! So what's your problem, huh? What could you possibly have...
Indeed, there should be no enmity between us. But what if instead of facing Amenoma Yuya, we are in fact facing the blade in his hand?
Now that you mention it, it is giving off a strange light.
Хороший клиночек. Мне б такой.
Whoa, sure.
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself within physical objects. The blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years, affecting his state of mind, or rather as a means to occupy Amenoma Yuya's body.
You're sharper than I thought. You've already deduced the truth of the matter. Many, many years ago, I was forged by a famed bladesmith of the Ishin tradition. I was his as a descendant of the Kaideha clan. You should be able to guess our...
I presume it has something to do with the...
Indeed. At that point in time, he failed to live up to the Raiden Shogun's expectations. In the end, he was a bladesmith of great renown, a master of his craft. There was nothing that he could not accomplish. And sure enough, in the end, he achieved what he had set out to do. All of his life's work, his wisdom, he not only bestowed upon me the greatest of strength, but also endowed me with a consciousness of my own. In her conceit, the Raiden Shogun lost not only the single most perfect blade in the entire world.
So, swords?
The people of the time in which I was born never believed I had that kind of power. They saw me as a mere blade, a sharp and well-crafted one. After the death of my creator, I decided to leave Snezhnaya and began my long quest to return to the distant land of Inazuma. I seek but one thing: to face the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power.
Ну так а от меня-то тебе что надо? Иди вон в Сегуната и получай звездюлей.
was not your first victim. Tell me, what happens to those...
My hosts? Who cares what happens to them? When they got tired or injured or unusable, I hopped to the next one in line. All I needed them for was to take me back to... After I returned to Inazuma, I decided to bide my time in Nagato's warehouse. At long last, I'm approaching my journey's destination. By Amenoma Yuya's body, I have... Kaideha Kazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. There can be no other. Now, give your body over to me!
One with nature. That hurts.
Join me and sever
Time to
that
go.
divine light.
Into the wind.
Еще что расскажешь? Ну-ка, а ульта у нас что делает? Здравствуйте. А ты что, младший брат Нахиды, что ли, я не пойму? А, он еще... Угу. Под рассеиванием, то есть копирует эту.
Your bluff's fooling no one. You've lost.
Lost? I can never lose. It is this body. Even if you defeat me here, the one who falls will not be me, but this man. He is but a puppet that can be replaced. I can take it. The end result is the same. I will end this wretch's life before you can live. And even if I were to lose my physical form, by any means necessary and any medium available, I shall return.
Your fighting style. It is indeed the forms of Ishin art, but from your movements, I sense only hatred and arrogance.
Really? You can...
As I've mentioned before, the forms of Ishin art convey. Since the blade is currently possessing Amenoma Yuya's body, its move. If you ask me, the mania is probably due to your desperate, single-minded ambition.
Are you trying to claim that I am helpless without? On his deathbed, he passed to me all of Ishin art's secrets. The little that you know barely scratches the surface. In that regard, why would...
Because all of that is... I've been wondering why you've not caused more trouble in all the years that you've been in Inazuma. If you are indeed a cursed blade that can possess its owner, now that I've seen inside your mind, everything finally makes sense. After all the time that's passed, you have grown weak. To the point that you are now unable to acquire a new host without making physical...
Oh, that's right. Paimon remembers now.
Only when Mr. Nagato witnessed his wife's distress and decided to sell his collectibles did you finally have an opportunity.
And what of it?
Well, that brings me to my second. You were determined to fulfill your maker's ambition, whatever the cost. But this ambition is too grand. I think you realized your limitations long ago. The more you clenched your teeth and pressed forward, the greater your fear of losing But the way I see it, what began as an ambition...
What would you know about any of this? I'm just one step away from a...
You returned to Inazuma to prove the unparalleled brilliance of Ishin art. But to make this arduous journey, you committed even if you were to sever that divine light. Is this truly the outcome that your maker would have
Как я
desired?
поняла, оказывается, психолог местный. Давайте заглянем в душу. Да-да-да, вот это все. Да в смысле? Алло. Батарейки, что ли, все? Ваш контроллер всего.
Sure, you inherited the secrets of Ishin art. But even as you made your journey to how could you possibly unleash the full potential of Ishin art when you act in perfect discordance with the principle of harm?
Silence, you blabbering fool! I must achieve my goal. This was his life stream, and I will concede that you are most perceptive. You see my predicament clearly.
And you should face reality.
Easy for you to say. Facing reality offers me. I have no need of anything that would stand in my way. Not hesitation, not self-reflection, and certainly not your so-called. It is pointless to argue further, descendant of the Kaide'Hara clan. If you wish to save this man, then
how stubbornly you stick to your wayward path. I do not believe for a second that you can challenge the almighty Shogun in your current state.
What? Surely you're not.
Very well. Then find yourself some enemies with whom you wish to cross. Once we have dealt with them, we shall proceed to Tenshukaku.
And as for your end of the bargain,
I accept.
Don't do this, Kazuha!
This is the only way to save Amenoma-yu. The Cursed Blade's strength is currently very weak, and I sense he's hesitating. The power of the Tatarigami lies in intensifying existing obsessions. This is the reason Mr. Nagato and Amenoma-Yuya fell prey to it.
But
even if things take a turn for the worse, we have a chance here to save an innocent victim. I am willing.
Your disdain for me betrays your woeful ignorance. I agreed to this bet because there are things now.
Kazuha?
I'm okay. I felt a little dizzy It's all right. So far, this was as I expected. I will.
What should we do next?
We find some enemies. Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably hasn't experienced many real fights. If a blade built for Ishin art cannot enter a state of harmony between blade and bearer, if he wants to avoid reality, then we need to fight until he has no choice but to face it.
Wait a minute! Paimon remembers hearing about some... Since the Takasukasa clan abandoned that secret base, it's been held by Ronin.
All right.
What about Amenoma-Yuya?
The blade says he'll let Amenoma-Yuya trail us silently. Although he hasn't regained his own consciousness.
Are we sure this is a good idea? Okay, fine. Just
Так, куда мы? Вот это я понимаю. Вот, началось. Сейчас еще им по-любому будет какая-нибудь массовая мордобойка. Че, мы опять в тот данж пойдем? Серьезно? Да. Так. А, нет, это не это взорвали. А, еще и только он.
Leave everything on this journey to me. One with nature.
Ух ты!
The wind knows me. As one with wind and cloud. Into the wind. The wind knows me.
красивая. Дим, будь добр, красота меча, если можно.
I'm all right.
Сейчас.
The blade is performing largely as I expected. Having gone so long without proper use, and though he's making every effort to persevere,
Something else on your mind?
how strange. Rather than trying to control, let's keep going.
Сейчас попробуем. Открыть оружие. Легендарный клинок и сын. Красивый, кстати, меч. Попадание за обычной атакой, обычная атака, заряженная атака или атакой в падении выпускают проклятого духа, наносил площадь равный. 80 атаки, также восстановлен хп, равное 100% от силы атаки. Нормально. Простите, подробнее. То есть 2К. Красный. Наносит на 50% меньше урона. Вон оно что. И тут церемония древней знати. Так. Вы думали, я не замечу? Боёчка красивая.
I can sense that his strength is slowly fading away. The blade is becoming more. He cannot hold out much longer. If he, I will be careful with it. He also says he does not have any plans to give up easily. He's still trying to achieve.
Так, тут ничего нигде нету. Это я знаю эту игру, она хочет меня наебать. О!
Into the wind. Fallen leaves, adorn my night. The wind knows me.
Are you okay? It looked like you were really struggling the entire fight.
Yes.
Вот на моей памяти это единственный аниме-персонаж, который прям вот действительно нехерово так может навалять люлей.
Perhaps this time we'll finally have a chance to see his true form.
True form? What are you talking about? Is this the same blade as before? It looks like a piece of junk.
If you choose to continue in the state you're in, you wouldn't even be able to beat Samurai and Kairagi. Maybe you did truly wield power to rival the Shogun's light when first forged. It barely needs stating anymore. Your ambition is a flight of fancy. I finally figured out why it was that you agreed to my bet. You wanted to reach a state of harmony with me. For perhaps then you would still be able to wield commendable power. But regrettably, we are nothing alike. I will never understand your obstinacy and cruelty, nor can I empathize with the only one who truly understood you, had already passed away by the time you were born.
Here they are! Take them down!
Where do they keep coming from? Yup. We can help this.
Don't worry. I'll use my own. It's just more of the same.
Let me try.
I'm ready.
Мне нравится, что у него есть контроль вот этот вот на подкидку. Вот этот, что он подкидывает их, они в воздухе держатся. Не аниме, а анима. Стихия аниме, ведь.
You are a true Kаэдэхара in flesh and in spirit. Though we fought briefly together, you have seen me for who I really am. No one knew anything of my story throughout my travels, nor did I tell it to anyone. You are the first person to know the truth. I thought that if I could achieve Ishin harmony with you, perhaps there would still be a ray of hope for me.
But in this too, you have failed.
Indeed. No matter how hard I tried, I could not attain that perfect harmony that your personal blade does with you.
Воздух ты имеешь в виду? Случился звук рака.
Too
Ну
much
да.
time has passed. My physical state is poor, and without proper maintenance, I can only do. Yours is the blade that took on the Muso no Hitotachi. And
Actually, this is just a generic blade that I picked up during my travels in Liyue.
What?
Forging and maintenance are both important for a This blade has traveled the land with me for many years, and we have formed a close bond during that time. Skill, blade, determination, and desire. All these must be aligned in the practice of Ishin art. There is something else I must tell you. Though your maker may not have been aware, your ability to possess your own consciousness derived from the power of the Tatarigami. Tatarigami is a malevolence from the ancient past. It is the source of your mania and savagery. Though you tried to cooperate with me while I was wielding you, the part of you driven by Tatarigami was constantly trying to seize control.
I sensed it, but I couldn't change it. It is an
I resisted its temptations because I wanted to save Amenoma Yuya. But I do not know whether you yourself have any. I feel a great sense of regret for you. Since you embarked on a journey bound for a destination, you were dead. The moment you embarked on this journey, you lost the only person who could have ever unleashed your true potential. You have known this for a long time.
He gave me everything. My life, my form, my consciousness. How could I possibly deny it? I said to him, "Do not worry. From here on, I shall forge." How could I go back on my word?
I believe our bet is now settled.
Where are you going, Kazuha?
He now has neither the ability nor the motivation to cause further harm. When I touched the hilt for the first time, it's as if I was transported to a bladesmith lay quietly on the bed. His frail face barely visible, a newly forged blade lay by his side, listening attentively to his final words.
Wow. That was the...
Indeed. While in exile in Snezhnaya, the bladesmith eventually learned the truth behind everything that had happened. He spent the rest of his life in the forge, not to vent his frustration and hatred, but he felt intense regret at being tricked by the Fatui, but he could never again return to his homeland. His sole wish was, so he instructed this sentient blade to find a way back to Inazuma. All he wanted to show was that they once shone brilliantly as blade and smith, that they were still worthy.
So that, but after that, the blacksmith's intention...
Right. I believe the bladesmith might never have known that the power he worked with was that of the Tatarigami. The hatred with this blade has committed unforgivable atrocities, but only because it lost its original master. No one was there to correct its errors when it was losing its way.
king?
Yes. Time would not wait or stop because of his determination. While the world moved on, his ambition remained stubborn. He seems to have calmed down, though.
When I look back at the past, I once told him that I would pay any price to fulfill his wishes, but darkness and slaughter numb the mind. Not only did I fail to fulfill his ambition.
You are finally seeing reality clearly.
Since we agreed to the terms of the bet, I will honor the agreement and release Amenoma, but I still cannot bring myself to forsake his ambition. So, may I ask you to help me fulfill the ambitions of myself and my creator?
Hey! Now you're adding yours into the mix!
It has to be done in this order. At least hear what I have to say. And if you don't agree, my physical form, as well as the knowledge I possess, should still...
His attitude hurt. What do you think, Kazuha?
Let's hear it.
Thank you all. When I was first forged, my maker was already... Alas, after that, nor have I ever had the chance to prove myself in battle since. My fights were devoid of any noble meaning. They were mere... You are a fine warrior. I would like to request your hand in battle and experience a
Oh? And who would be the opponent?
I will release Amenoma Yuya and restore his consciousness. You must have plenty of reasons to both hate...
Understood. Then let's start by waking...
I see. He used... I utterly despise him and his actions. But since he stayed true to your agreement by... If a duel can help to set this state of affairs in order, I do not wish to be a mere victim.
There's no need to worry. We'll vouch for your innocence to the Tenryubi.
Thanks for your help. Who knows?
All right, then let's move on. More Ronin could appear at any moment. We can't stay here. In any case, for a final duel, I think we should aim...
Ну вот. Ну, не знаю я. Как-то слишком сюжет. Я вот даже не знаю, как его назвать. Они вначале прям так замудрили все. О, вот, я ищу этого, я хочу дать ему люлей. Потом мы быстро переключаемся в какой-то детективчик. А давайте-ка мы быстренько найдем двух людей, которые пропали. А потом выясняется, что... А вот есть меч, который завладевает сознанием других людей. Вот он хочет сразиться с Рейден. Мы такие, нет, ты не прав, сейчас я тебе докажу. Что, блядь? О чем этот квест?
Yep, we still can't let our guard down, even still. Even if he's way Are you ready?
Ready? Okay. Successor of Ishin art.
Successor of Amenoma art.
Honored to cross blades with you.
It is my honor also.
The wind knows me. One with nature. That hurts.
Что, охренел, что ли?
The wind knows me. Time to go. Fallen leaves, adorn my night. One with nature.
А чё?
Thank you for the
В
experience.
том, чтобы вернуть былое величие меча. Если тебе в конце подарят, ты скажешь спасибо.
Although he appears battered and broken, in your hands it seems he's regained a glimmer of brilliance. His sense of savage cruelty has completely faded away.
You also fought well. I'm sure he relished the experience. There are a few things that I shall...
I must apologize to you for all that has transpired.
You need not seek my forgiveness. Nor do I have the right to forgive. It is too late for all.
I do not wish for forgiveness. I only hope that you will see my transgressions as mine alone, and I strayed far from the straight and narrow path, but the Ish, I beseech you, please understand this.
Yes, I too trust Mr.
Thank you, successor of Amenoma Art.
This blade has also told me that he has another wish. He would. Maybe we can go back there together.
What does he want?
I'm not sure, but I think
Краб
that all
такой.
this is about to come to an.
Скорее всего, мы его сейчас расплавим. Переплавим в ложь. Выкуем из него топор, похожий на меч, который заменит нам ложь.
It's Yuya!
Если бы мы не поводились с богами Селестии, Фатуи сражаются против богов и их порядка, почему бы нам не встать на их сторону? Потому что мы первыми встретились с Твентелем, мы привязались к людям Тейвата. Ага, я примкнем к Мезде, которая тоже против Селестии. И все, хэппи-энд. Вот, да!
I am sorry to have troubled you. It's all thanks to them that I...
A prized Ishin blade. Turn... Considering their forging philosophy, but I have some good news as well. Ryuji from the Bonton Sango Detective Agency.
Really?
Yes. Badly wounded, and now that Yuya is back, it's...
I think I know what you want to do.
What's wrong, Kazuha?
Yes. He said he wants to take control of me for...
What? No way!
He tells me that he's thought of another way to fulfill his maker's wish. I have decided...
You... But... He...
Thank you. Okay. I am ready.
Давай, харакири!
My power is almost spent. Without him, my eventual demise is inevitable. But if I abandon the future to give everything I have in this moment, my physical form can be forged anew.
Everything? You mean...
Yes. The cost is my entire consciousness. You were right. There's nothing that I can accomplish now. But there's still a chance for Ishin art. Once remade, I will be a valuable resource for your studies. Ishin lives on, and its finest hour is yet to come. Even if I am not the one to prove its might to the
Рукава не мешают, не?
as long as it is an Ishin blade, crafted by Kаэдэхара hands, it will still fulfill his final wish. Thank you, son of the Kаэдэхara clan. Over the years, my real name has been forgotten by all. I'm ashamed to utter it, yet it remains strong in my mind. Kagotsurube Ishin. This name is now yours to keep.
Rest in peace.
Ух.
So, that's why he said it had to be done. His consciousness will disappear forever after
Kagotsurube Ishin. It seems like deep down he disapproved of his own actions. Only in the final moments, before his consciousness faded, was he
Seems like he really...
the same fervent ambition that gave him the motivation to keep going. Speaking for myself, I'd rather see him recognize and atone for his mistakes than see him. I understand. Perhaps this is a flaw in my personality. I've always... Hearing his wish to rival the divine light touched something inside of me. Your quest to face the gods and trace your sibling after everything I've seen. Perhaps these pursuits fascinate.
Oh, Kazuha?
I will continue to support you from this point on. No.
Wait! Shouldn't we also go update Kujo Comet?
Oh, you're right. And it's also time to...
Ну вот зачем мне-то туда идти? Вы собирались там пропустить порюмашки, обсудить какие-то важные переговоры, блядь. Зачем я-то там нужен? Что ты делаешь? Я понимаю, заанимировать реальный процесс ковки сложно и муторно, но, по-моему, заделывать эти трещины не молотком и нагреванием надо. Там буквально борозды в металле. Как? А вот так. Андрей, вот так. А, я, кажется, иду немножко не туда.
You've returned. I hear that the issue has been resolved. The Tenryou Commission has already attended to the danger at the warehouse. The investigation into Amanoma Yuya should conclude soon. I do not believe he will be charged with any crime.
Wow, you sure...
Then we needn't recount all the details again. Now, as to your earlier offer, I wish to give you my answer.
What's this?
Kagotsurube Ishin. A weapon crafted using a long-lost blade forging art of the Kaidohara clan. By means of a series of fortuitous events, I was able to recover and restore him. I also promised him that I will continue to study and pass on the secrets of Ishin art. And so, it looks like I will likely continue with my journey across the nations, learning more about this blade as I go.
I see.
The Kaidohara clan has always been a family of bladesmiths, so it is only proper for me to continue on this path. Were I to accept your goodwill, I may find myself embroiled in conflicts between the shogunate and Sangonomiya. That would not suit me.
You misunderstand.
I am aware, but I still desire to continue walking my own...
Very well, I can understand. However, if you should ever change your mind or find yourself in need of the shogunate's assistance...
Great.
Where will you travel to next?
I'll probably take to the seas with Captain Beto again.
Обустроить себе на корабле маленькую кузницу.
Let's see where the wind takes me.
И будет там ковать себе мечи. Ну вот этот за час. О! Спасибо. Что я могу еще сказать? Спасибо. А чё? А, его пробудить нельзя. Когда необычной атакой, заряженной атакой или атакой в падении, поднимают секущий ветер, который наносит урон по площади равно 180 цветов, а также повышает силу атаки на 15% на 8 секунд. Гады. Поменяли. Ну, так он же перекован. Давай вот сейчас не будем вот это, да? А, мне что-то оружия так мало, да? В принципе, клиночек интересный, я бы сказал. Пусть будет. Куда-нибудь я его придумаю. Так, ну что, товарищи, давайте, наверное, на этом остановимся. У нас осталось 3 задания легенд. Все они у нас находятся... Реально пора Кадзуху в ДД собирать. Все они у нас находятся в Сумеру. Собственно, как я и планировал закончить все это мероприятие там. Как раз я думаю, что на следующем стриме мы это закончим. Мучить вас заданиями мира я все-таки не буду, хотя, ну, блядь, там есть много интересных вещей, которые показать бы хотелось. Еще у нас есть Ванаранана, вот это вот вы все. У вас тут кто бегает, кидает? Да все бегают, все кидаются. У нас есть Ванарана, которую надо показывать. В общем, мы будем закрывать Сумеру. После этого, скорее всего. Дайте мне календарик. Мне нужно понять. Ну, в принципе, мы закрываем Сумеру. А следующий стрим у нас уже выходит в новый апдейт. Значит, так тому и быть. Закрываем Сумеру и на этом пока заканчиваем. Завтра. Потом проходим. Я думаю, что новый сюжет не будет слишком длинный. Предыдущую пачку сюжета мы вроде бы прошли за один стрим, если мне память не изменяет. Ну, плюс-минус там. Начали на одном, закончили на втором, но ее было немного. А дальше уже будем смотреть по обстоятельствам. Я все-таки подумаю насчет диска Элизиума. Он у меня давно вызывает интерес, поэтому, возможно, мы его с вами постримим, посмотрим. Ну а пока что на этом все. Тем, кто присутствовал, огромное спасибо. Всем удачи. Всем пока.